The voice of the sackcloth came from behind him. The voice of the sackcloth came from behind him. Long Fei's heart tightened as he instinctively took a step back. Bang! A bloody light appeared, bringing with it a torrent of corrosive and devouring power, and landed directly on the ground. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A loud sound echoed out. Even the earth could not withstand this kind of suppression. It directly caved in, becoming scorched yellow. Long Fei's eyes were cold and detached as she looked towards the source of the power. His eternal longevity's young master's hand was covered in a bloody light. You're dead meat. In this chaos, there is no one who would dare to act so wildly in my longevity palace and leave. No matter what status you have, you will undoubtedly die today. Young Master Longevity said coldly. With just you? A short-lived dog. I originally thought that great Emperor Chongqing's power was amazing, but it's nothing more than this. You don't have to worry. As long as you kill this old beast, it'll be your turn. Long Fei said. Right now, within the Longevity Palace, only the two of them were left. Palace Master Longevity was at least a boss, and right now, his HP was already close to half. With just a few more moves, the Reaper will be finished. Little bastard, you're still spouting nonsense even now. Who do you think you are? Are you the Lord of Chaos? Or Emperor Xian? Even a Lord of Primordial Chaos wouldn't dare to claim that he had destroyed our Longevity Palace. What are you? Do you think you're so awesome just because you've freed yourself from my power as a god? Naive. My son, activate the power of Emperor Chongqing. Let this group of kid in the wilderness know what it means to be the successor of Emperor Chongqing. Palace Master Longevity crawled up from the rubble, fury on his face. Being sent flying with a single punch from Long Fei had caused his heart to become angry, and at the same time, he also felt resentment. At this moment, the Longevity Palace had been crippled. He, the Palace Master of Longevity Palace, had become the commander-in-chief. His heart was filled with hatred. He wanted nothing more than to hack Long Fei into 1,000 pieces, especially when he was actually sent flying by Long Fei's fist. That hatred exploded outwards. The corner of young Master Chongqing's mouth twitched. Father, it's making a big deal out of nothing. This kind of dog is worthy of using the power of the Emperor of Life? I think too highly of him. The power of an undying general is not something he can handle. Young Master Longevity smiled complacently in his eyes, and then with a move of his hands, a medallion appeared in his palm. General Chongqing, rise. As the sound of his voice faded, the entire Longevity mountain directly split in half from the middle. And then a dark staircase. This flight of stairs, it was the complete opposite of the ladder. A path into the void. One led deep into the earth. Dong, 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 dong. Suddenly, a series of tremors appeared. This voice was like thunder, shaking the world. What is it? Long Fei's eyes moved as he looked at the hemp garment. He knew that the relationship between Mai Yi and Emperor Chongqing all those years ago was not shallow. Although she didn't confess to him, at least she had a crush on him. Master, I'm not sure. It's just that I feel an extremely terrifying power. Hempen Clothed said with a frown. Long Fei pondered as he looked towards the darkness of the earth. A power that even the sackcloth was unaware of was related to the Emperor of Life. What kind of existence was this? Right now, young Master Longevity and Palace Master Longevity were standing side by side, both of them wearing cold smiles. Ha, you dog thing, just wait for me to tremble. You will never know that even though Emperor Chongqing is the Emperor of Longevity, his power is fundamentally unparalleled. Next, kneel and beg for mercy in front of the strength of an undying general. But even if you kneel down, it's useless. The only result of provoking my supreme Longevity Palace is death. As Master Longevity spoke, the medallion in his hand flashed. Whiz! This light pierced through the endless darkness, bursting in. Dong, dong, dong. The massive vibration came once more, even more frenzied than before. It was as if a huge monster was sprinting out of the ground. Long Fei squinted his eyes as he held the killing weapon tightly. Boss, this power is so strange. I feel like it's the same power as my decaying power. At this moment, Zhang Yu's voice sounded again. Same as the decaying power? That idiot said it's the undead power? F asterisk CK. Could it be a 10,000-year-old zombie? Long Fei's heart thumped. However, before he could think about it, a giant monster appeared in front of him and shocked him. An armor covered in rust came rushing out from the ground. After circling the sky with a blank expression, he kneeled down in front of Master Longevity. "Ha, you won't die. Fine, kill him." Young Master Chongqing pointed at Long Fei. Roar! The iron armor suddenly moved and roared as it pounced towards Long Fei. Swish! Long Fei only felt his body sway, and before he could react, a black figure had already appeared. Boom! Asterisk, a figure of a fist landed. Long Fei felt a sweetness in his throat, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. F asterisk CKU. Why is this kind of power so violent? Long Fei stood up. He looked at the steel-armored soldiers that were once again rushing towards him, and anger flashed past his eyes. Mother asterisk her. I'm giving you face, right? Get lost. The large killing weapon in Long Fei's hand changed, and he smashed it down, smashing the armored soldier into the ground. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. He turned around and looked at Palace Head Longevity and Young Master Longevity. But then again, Long Fei was not aware of it. With this swing, the system did not give any notice. The only possibility was he didn't die at all. Long Fei turned around and immediately retreated a step. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Boom! A pair of giant iron fists came smashing down. It was none other than the armored soldiers. Not only did he not die, he became even more berserk. It was as if Long Fei had used her true flame and lost all reason. Roar! 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 The armored soldier roared and attacked Long Fei crazily. Long Fei kept dodging, and he didn't even have a chance to attack. He was hit in the middle, and his HP was reduced by more than half. In the distance, when Palace Master Chongqing and Young Master Chongqing saw Long Fei in such a sorry state, they became even more proud of himself. Haha, kid, why are you so arrogant? Awesome, you still want to kill us. Why don't you take a piss and think about it yourself? This is the undead power. If he doesn't die, you will be exhausted to death sooner or later. So what if your fighting strength is high? You still dare to threaten us? Looking at how you are beaten up like a dead dog, it's really funny. Young Master Longevity laughed heartily as the color of the medallion in his hand gradually changed. An undying general, attack. Smash him into mincemeat until his mother can't even recognize him. Master Longevity ordered. As the sound of his voice faded, the armored soldiers launched another round of attacks. In the distance, Ma Yi's face was filled with anxiety. He wanted to stop them, but was stopped immediately by Long Fei. No need, I'll be damned if I die. It's like he won't die. I want to see whether he'll kill me or me. Immortal body, rise. There was madness in Long Fei's eyes, but as his voice fell, his undying body immediately increased. Not die. Not die. Even the system had a time limit of 3 minutes. Could there be another existence that was even more powerful than the system? This was impossible, and definitely not possible. Therefore, Long Fei simply could not believe that this steel armor in front of him really did not die. Even if he didn't die, there must be some extremely harsh conditions. Thinking about it, Long Fei immediately attacked. Boom! Asterisk Long Fei immediately chose to engage in a close combat. Since he was not going to die, he might as well play a ruthless game. Boom! Asterisk boom! Asterisk time and time again. Long Fei collided with the iron armor, and his body was sent flying. He really is an idiot. He's going to fight to the death with his physical body. Haha, just you wait. He'll be beaten into a bloody mess in less than 3 breaths. Young Master Chongqing was extremely excited and had already given up on paying attention to Long Fei. He took one step at a time toward the sky. The ball of blood was what he wanted. At this moment, the linen robe also had a cautious look on his face. She looked at Long Fei's fearless fighting style and felt worried in her heart. But at this moment, the situation suddenly changed. Long Fei was still fighting with the armored soldiers. Under the impact of this power, Long Fei's HP slowly decreased. However, after being drained of blood, it did not change. This was the function of the immortal deity body. The distant young master Changsheng also fixed his gaze on Long Fei, his sinister face turning into a state of panic, unease, and fear. He was tongue-tied. It was hard to understand. In their eyes, Long Fei would definitely not be able to hold on for much longer. He was in control of the immortal ranked medallion, so he naturally knew how powerful this undying warrior was. He knew exactly how powerful the undead power was that it had been immersed in history. If he didn't have the Imperial Edict, he would have been beaten to death when he faced the Invincible General. He wouldn't be able to hold on for more than a minute. But now, Long Fei was actually clashing head-on with the undying warrior. How was this possible? Who are you? Longevity, Gongzi said in panic. Long Fei shot a glance over with madness in his eyes. Watch carefully. If you don't die in your eyes, then how did you get played to death by your father? Long Fei said coldly. Boom! Another punch. The armored soldier was directly pierced through by Long Fei and smashed into the darkness of the earth. At this moment, the armored soldiers finally showed some changes. The armor on his body began to fall off bit by bit. His health bar had gone from a series of question marks to an accurate number. 20 million. To Long Fei, this level was something that could be killed in an instant. Long Fei did not pause at all and directly entered the boundless darkness. Boom! Asterisk the moment the foot landed, the entire armor completely shattered, revealing a rotting corpse. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying Iron Armored Soldier. You have obtained 80,000 experience, 80,000 holy source points, and 1 striking value point. Ding! Congratulations player for obtaining Undead Power. Ding! Undead Power has been devoured. Immortal body time will be extended by 1 minute. Long Fei listened to the system prompt. His heart trembled. Fuck, is the system going berserk? It was my luck that exploded. The Undead Power. Has it even upgraded to an immortal body? Long Fei was ecstatic. 1 minute was simply heaven-defying. 1 minute wasn't a long time, but if it was added onto the immortal deity, it was very likely to be the key to survival. TSK, TSK, TSK. What an unexpected surprise. Anything else? Where's your undead general? Is there anything else? Call him out. I'm going to beat him to death. Long Fei laughed madly and looked towards young Master Changsheng. Longevity, Gongzi's expression was ugly. He didn't expect that he would die just like that. The immortal existence in his eyes had actually died just like that. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Even if you kill the undead warrior, what can you do? Do you dare to kill me? I'm the Lord of Life, gifted by the Lord of Chaos. With this status, even the Emperor wouldn't dare to touch me. Do you understand? Your father is standing right here. Do you dare to come and kill me? Master Longevity threatened. Now, seeing Long Fei killing all the enemies before him, fear had already appeared in his heart. Even supreme paragons of the 9th level wouldn't be able to struggle free from Palace Head Longevity's soul sealing lock. But Long Fei succeeded. At that time, he would use his undying power to subdue Long Fei. But now, even if he didn't die, he wouldn't be able to beat his opponent. Thus, he had already thought of retreating. Long Fei smiled lightly. Threats? It doesn't exist. You don't dare? I'm afraid you've lost your mind. In my world, there is no such thing as not daring. Today, if I don't make you into a fool, I won't even look back. Long Fei said. In the next moment, Long Fei's figure directly flew into the sky from the darkness. Whiz! Light and shadow intertwined. Long Fei plucked onions from the dry land and directly rushed to the side of young Master Longevity. Boom! Asterisk a fist descended. Young Master Changsheng did not even have time to react before he was directly struck by Long Fei's fist, falling from the 9th heaven into the darkness. Boom! Asterisk Long Fei chased relentlessly, punching after punch. In the end, he even took out his killing weapon and hacked down with his saber. Call me young Master Longevity? The legacy of the great emperor? Is it that amazing? If this daddy wants to kill someone, I will never care about the identity of the other party. You think the Lord of Chaos will be able to protect you? Too naive. Die. Longfei sneered. The Lord of Primordial Chaos had once said that the legacies of the 13 divinities would be competing for the God of Boundary. Before then, no one else could make a move. However, not fighting did not mean that they could not kill each other. Moreover, even if it was the Lord of the Primal Chaos, Longfei wouldn't mind. If you don't accept it, then do it. As for the boss, it was impossible for Longfei to stop. Even though there was no sign of a boss on young Master Changsheng right now, Longfei still had the feeling that this young Master Changsheng was more like a boss than Palace Master Longevity. Boom! Asterisk the saber landed and pierced through young Master Changsheng's chest. Little bastard, stop. At this time, Palace Master Changsheng finally reacted and suddenly attacked Longfei. A vast pressure descended once again. Snatch my life. The Palace Master of Longevity Palace shouted. His methods were extremely powerful. Get out of my way. Longfei turned around and slashed out, directly blocking the power. At this time, Master Changsheng also received a moment of respite. While Longfei was being affected by the Palace Master, he turned around and ran. Boy, just you wait. If you dare to touch me, wait for me to take the qualification battle. I'll definitely kill you. Young Master Changsheng's voice came from the darkness. Longfei looked at the endless darkness in his eyes and wanted to give chase. But Palace Master Longevity's power had once again descended. Brat, just you wait. My son will eventually inherit the legacy of the Longevity Emperor, and at that time, you will undoubtedly die. As Palace Master Longevity spoke, he exerted his strength once more. Damn it, it's not over yet, right? Do you think I can be affected by you after I've destroyed my soul? Break for me. The flames of fury in Longfei's heart grew, and he was very unhappy that young Master Changsheng had escaped. If he was unhappy, he would kill someone. Boom! Longfei slashed blade after slash. Relying on his immortal body, he forcefully withstood the strength of Palace Master Longevity. As for Palace Master Longevity, his HP also steadily fell as he directly skimmed through half of it. Boy, just you wait. Your time of death is near. With a cold snort, the Palace Master of Longevity Palace turned around and floated towards the sky. A cold light exploded from Longfei's eyes. Seeing that Palace Master Changsheng wanted to run away, the corner of his mouth curled into a cold smile. Want to run? Ask this daddy. Perfect, let's try out some skills. Hand of Chaos go. Chaos energy gushed out. Chaos energy gushed out. In the end, it formed into a pair of large hands, grabbing towards the void. No, what is this? Get lost. The Lord of all life roared in disbelief. However, his strength had no effect on these two large hands. Boom. Asterisk, he was captured immediately. Capture him 100%. Awesome. Run? Keep running. Longfei held the huge blade filled with killing intent and stared at the Lord of the Longevity Palace. This time, it was only for testing. He did not expect it to give Longfei a big surprise. Even the power of longevity had no effect on this hand. It was directly captured. Haha, I ignore the capture of power. It's simply a must, a weapon for killing people and stealing their treasures. Longfei thought, if, one day, a precious treasure of the world were to erupt, with a hand of chaos, wouldn't it be easy to capture him? No, that's not possible. This is something the Lord of all fiends did. How can you possess this sort of power? I don't believe it. Palatial Lord Longevity was hysterical, once again mobilizing all the strength in his body. Boom! This time, the power at the peak of the 9th level erupted. The power of longevity entered the blood, forming a massive blood cocoon. Palace Master Longevity was within the blood cocoon. Haha, let's see how you'll capture them this time. Kid, you will die without a doubt the next time we meet. As Palace Master Longevity spoke, he controlled the blood cocoon and broke through the void. Longfei remained silent and did not move. However, he was calculating in his mind. He wanted to know how far away Chaotic Hand was. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Hand of chaos, appear. Whiz. Chaotic space once again condensed. A pair of large hands formed from thousands of miles away, and then lightly clenched. Boom. Asterisk, the body of the master of life and death was once again captured and thrown heavily in front of Long Fei. The palace master of Longevity Palace fell silent. He felt so wrong that he wanted to cry. He looked at Long Fei, who was in front of him, with a blank expression, as if he wanted to ask, "Who am I? Where am I?" But before he could say anything, Long Fei had already started laughing loudly. "You're running? Even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will catch you and bring you back. Come on, keep running. I haven't had enough fun." Long Fei laughed heartily. However, he still felt a little regretful that he had used the Hand of Chaos to capture young Master Changsheng. Whoosh! Long Fei took a deep breath and suppressed his wild thoughts. "Come, stand up. Let me see how awesome Palace Master Longevity is." As Long Fei said this, his blade directly sank into the blood cocoon around the Longevity Palace Master. Reaper, 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 Reaper. Kill. Long Fei was waiting for that exact moment, when his HP was less than half, and he could instantly kill him. Swish! Immediately after Long Fei's voice fell, a figure appeared in the air. The scythe in his hand moved and slashed towards the throat of the Lord of Life. Instantly, blood gushed out like a spring. Only, what surprised Long Fei was that Asgard Master Longevity had actually not died. Such a strange power of longevity, it actually did not even manage to inskill the Reaper. Long Fei's heart was moved. He thought to himself as he looked at the Eternal Monarch's health bar. It could be said that Palace Head Longevity had already died, so he only had less than 10 points of HP left. As long as he made a casual punch, he would be completely dead. Don't kill me. It would do you no good to kill me. As long as you don't kill me, I can bring you to the Mausoleum of Longevity Emperor. There are countless opportunities there. You see, my son is formidable. He's the one who acquired the Infinite Emperor Medallion. The Palace Master of Longevity Palace was instantly terrified. Under Long Fei's godlike methods, he had no choice but to admit defeat. However, Long Fei ignored him immediately. He didn't understand Long Fei at all. "What do you want? I can get it myself. As for you, if you're still alive, how will I complete my mission? Go to hell." Long Fei's eyes turned cold. The big killing weapon in his hand flashed with a cold light. It was pushed down heavily. Crack! 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 The blood cocoon began to rupture as streams of power of longevity floated in all directions. Under the pressure of the great killing artifact, the Longevity Palace mistress' expression became extremely ugly. Then, he shook his head crazily and started begging for mercy. "No, please don't kill me. I can give you the power of longevity. I can bring you to find the legacy of the Emperor of Extinction. He wants you to inherit the last position and participate in the war for the God of Boundary. This is something that even my son does not know. I can give it to you if you let me go. As long as you don't kill me, I can be your lackey." The Palace Master of Longevity Palace was frantically begging for mercy. "Dog, I don't have this kind of hobby. I'm going to raise a dog that I can bite back at any time." Long Fei said. "Master, let me do it." He had moved something that he should not have. "As long as I kill him myself, I can dispel the hatred in my heart." At this moment, Hempen Clothed walked up and stared fiercely at Palace Head Longevity. There was nostalgia in her eyes, as if there were some unspeakable past. Long Fei was too lazy to ask. However, since he had already said it, Long Fei would naturally not reject it. There was no difference if Fang Zheng and the others killed Long Fei. "All right, you go ahead and kill them," Long Fei said as he kept his big killing weapon. Hempling glanced at Long Fei gratefully, then walked towards Asgard Mistress Changsheng one step at a time. "Why does the Emperor raise you bunch of dogs? Unfilial acts of disrespect and unfilial acts. I shall pass on my legacy to you, and finally, I will dig up the tomb of the great Emperor. You won't be able to atone for your sins, even if you die 100 times." As the linen-robed man spoke, His killing intent intensified without saying a word. Palace Master Longevity was stunned. He had no idea what Mai Yi was going to say. However, he could feel Mai Yi's emotions that wanted to hack him into 1,000 pieces. You misunderstand? I don't even know you. What did you lose? I'll repay you. Palace Master Longevity said quickly. Huh? The hemp garment sneered as his eyes moved. The blood ball in the sky started spinning once again. So. Following the rotation, the blood-colored energy began to be released and finally merged back into the dark land. Swoosh! With a sharp whistle, the copper coin once again floated in the air. Long Fei watched everything silently. Previously, when his soul had been sealed, he hadn't been able to sense it. But now, after seeing this copper coin, Long Fei finally felt that it truly was extraordinary. How can an existence like you imagine the power of a great emperor? This old one will let you know what it means to take your life. Hempen Cloth's voice was ice cold. He extended his hand and grabbed the copper coin. Swish! With a flick of the bronze coin, it was directly inserted into the center of Longevity Palace's brows. Ah! Immediately, the Longevity Palace master cried out miserably. It could be seen with the naked eye that his life force was continuously being devoured, and all the longevity in his body was directly devoured. His entire person had turned into a withered old man. The copper coin had also become more crystalline. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Longevity Palace Mistress. You have obtained 160,000 experience points, 160,000 Holy Source points, and 1 striking value point. Ding! Congratulations, player, on obtaining 100 lines of the power of longevity. Ding! Congratulations to the player for obtaining a special reward. The reward is the longevity token. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining the power of the longevity blood vein. The system sounded out. Long Fei was a little surprised. It wasn't easy for someone at this level to drop so many items. Release your striking value. Long Fei said. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining the key to the heavens in Palace. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining the key to the longevity tomb, number 1. The system's voice came to an abrupt end. Oh my god, a striking value like that? Are you kidding me? Long Fei was a little broken down, but at this time, a voice came out. Ding, the power of longevity has been devoured. Long Fei glared at him. Long Fei glared at him. He had already felt that the system was a scumbag. To think that 2 keys would actually pop up from 1 striking value, and it was even at the count of 1. This meant that there had to be another key. He was about to flare up, but he didn't expect that the power of longevity he had previously released would be devoured again. System, your sister, are you pulling wool? Long Fei asked solemnly in his heart. But in his heart, he was pondering what kind of existence could actually devour the power of longevity. Just as he was thinking, he suddenly saw that his soul and Yiya's body became dense in the space. The light flickered as if they were enveloped by the power of longevity. Yeah, joy appeared in Long Fei's eyes. In this battle, to Long Fei, the greatest regret was the deaths of Yiya and the others. To Long Fei, this was a little hard to bear. Boss, this lady's body contains a strong power of immortality. Perhaps she won't die. Zhang Yu said in space. Long Fei nodded. He could also sense the changes in Yiya's body. After that, he sent her out of the space and asked Hempen Cloth, you're more familiar with the power of longevity. What is this situation? Long Fei pointed at Yaya. He didn't say much about the soul he had chopped off. The hemp garment looked at the change of Yiya, its eyes blooming with a bright light. Master, this is creating intelligence to improve your body. Palace Master Longevity's power originates from the commoners from before, and the determination of the mortals has entered her body. At this moment, it is equivalent to completely merging those energies into Yiya's body. If possible, that bitch would even become the second living body after the Emperor of Life. Hempen Clothed said excitedly. It was as if Yiya's change made her think of the presence of the immortal Emperor, her expression extremely agitated. Immortal body? Long Fei asked. Had never thought about longevity. In any case, even though they were existences from the ancient era, the overlords were not immortal. It was just an unlimited increase in lifespan. But does longevity really exist? Long Fei thought as he looked at Yai. Ding! Congratulations, player, for completing the quest of exterminating Longevity Palace. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining Longevity Fruit. Description: after refinement, the divine body can be altered and the body can grow. Just then, the system interrupted Long Fei's thoughts. Long Fei's eyes flashed. Fruit of the immortal body? Ha ha! He's going to defy the heavens. Long Fei laughed and took out the fruit. The fruit was filled with an indescribable power, and even Long Fei was born with a sense of greed. Just like the ginseng fruit from the journey to the west in his previous life, it was full of temptation. My E, who was standing to the side, was also deeply immersed within. Even saliva was dripping from his old face. Master, this was the fruit of longevity. Oh my God, this thing really exists. Hempsey was so excited that he was incoherent. Calm down, calm down. If you follow me, you'll see more impossible things in the future. However, what would happen if this fruit was given to Yaya? Long Fei said quietly. As for the fruit of the divine body of longevity, Long Fei was also interested in it. But he wanted to use it on her even more. If he could revive Yai, let alone a fruit of the immortal god physique, even if Long Fei had to pinch the corpse of the immortal emperor, Long Fei wouldn't hesitate in the slightest. Of course, this sort of thing would definitely not be known by Ma Yi. Otherwise, he really didn't know if this age hempen would dare to go against him and fight with his life on the line. Master, this fruit of life is able to help you become an immortal body in one step. As long as it is not the power of calamity and absolute suppression, the power of time would not be able to do anything to you. Hempen-clothed man said nervously, No need for that. I just want to know if I could survive if I let that bastard eat me up. Long Fei said resolutely. This was what he was most concerned about. Of course I can. Yiya's soul is still here. It's just that due to the influence of the power of immortality, she's now in a deep slumber. If we use the longevity fruit, we can definitely wake him up. In fact, after I refine him, he'll be the next emperor of longevity. Mai said excitedly. Long Fei nodded. Following that, Long Fei directly pinched the fruit of his body and used his power to wrap it around himself before putting it into her mouth. Boom! In an instant, the power on Yiya's body erupted forth. At this moment, her soul was faintly discernible, and she began to recover from her body. Yeah, Long Fei said solemnly, his eyes carrying anticipation. As time passed, the radiance on Yiya's body became increasingly bright, and the aura of longevity became increasingly dense. It was as if she had transformed into a human-shaped precious medicine, full of enticement. I will. If I King bring this out, it would be a moving spiritual medicine. Long Fei thought. However, Long Fei was not worried. If Yai were to succeed, as long as she was by his side, he would not be afraid of anyone provoking her. Emperor of longevity? Emperor corrupt? If you have any keys to the Emperor of destruction, open them in the future. I feel like I need to gather an army of great emperors by my side. Long Fei's heart sank into his sleep. This kind of beautiful scene was simply too cool and dazzling, so dazzling that it seemed as if it could explode the heavens. Big brother. Right at this moment, a weak voice sounded out. It was none other than Yiya. Bastard, you're awake. Long Fei looked at Yai. Even Long Fei was shocked when he saw it. The little girl who was originally just a child had now actually undergone a process of reverse growth and turned into an infant. Yes, a baby. What's going on? Long Fei was puzzled and asked Ma-Yi. Master, this is a freshman. His current body had completely reversed his original body. It could be said that he now possessed the physique of an immortal. Even if he doesn't cultivate, her longevity would still be far longer than that of many ancient powers. Hempen-clothed said excitedly. Long Fei was startled, also filled with disbelief. especially what Hempen Clothed had said. The longevity that Yi possessed was even more shocking. He didn't need to cultivate to be comparable to an ancient supreme elder. What if he cultivated it? Could it really live forever? Long Fei couldn't help but think of this. Big brother, I'm still alive. Haha, I'm still alive. Yi suddenly laughed. However, this scene was somewhat strange. Bastard, don't say anything when you have nothing else to do. Long Fei said. Oh. Yi responded with a wronged expression. Long Fei couldn't bear it anymore and felt sorry for her. Forget it, it's up to you. No one will be able to hurt you with me around. Long Fei said, leave this person to me. I have the confidence to let her better utilize the power of her immortal body. The linen-robed man said, good, but what is in this darkness? It can't really be Emperor Changxing's tomb, right? Long Fei agreed. He turned around and looked at the endless darkness beneath his feet. The darkness had an extremely deep extension that even Long Fei could not perceive the end of. Master, this should be the tomb of the Emperor. I can sense the aura of the Emperor inside. Hempen-clothed man said with a nostalgic expression. Long Fei looked at the deep hole in the darkness as his throat continuously wiggled. Long Fei looked at the deep hole in the darkness as his throat continuously wiggled. Long Fei had an impulse to immediately enter. Big brother, I feel a sense of familiarity here. I really want to go in and see who it is. At this moment, Yi suddenly said. Long Fei pondered. Once Yi said that, Long Fei was even more certain. This cave was the location of Emperor Changxing's tomb. Who would have thought that great Emperor Changxing's grave would actually be on the mountain itself? No wonder we can't fly like this. Long Fei finally understood. How could a great emperor allow others to be so high and mighty in front of him? Hempen clothes, get ready. Let's go in. Long Fei said before summoning his god's pavilion, summoning the injured Lord of the Plain in to recuperate. Hempen Clothed was a bit troubled on his face, but seeing Long Fei's determined face, he still sighed and agreed. Following that, walked step by step into the endless darkness while carrying Yi in his arms. After a while, Long Fei and the other two disappeared. And just at the instant when Long Fei and the other two had disappeared into the darkness, the entire Longevity Palace, and even the Longevity Mountain, collapsed with a loud rumble, as if the sky had fallen. All the Tianyun city, thousands of kilometers away, all of them were shocked by this shock. After all, the Longevity Palace was the legacy of an overlord. It had existed for many years and was considered a sacred place in the hearts of many. Now that it had turned into ruins in a single night, it naturally attracted the attention of others. The Longevity Palace has been destroyed. Who exactly is it? How could there be such a method? Could it be that the successor of the Emperor of Destruction had appeared to exact vengeance? It shouldn't be. Even back then, the Emperor of Destruction wasn't able to do it. Even if someone had obtained the inheritance, they definitely wouldn't have been able to do it. What's going on? Could it be that the Lord of Chaos has made his move? The people in the city speculated. Suddenly, a purple figure appeared in the sky. When everyone saw this, they immediately went silent. He didn't even dare to breathe too loudly. The Longevity Palace has been destroyed? Who is it? There's actually such a method. Servants, head to the Longevity Palace immediately. I want to know what happened. The purple-clothed old man said. The old man's face was sinister and his eyes were cold, as if a single glance could intimidate anyone who looked at him. The people in the city didn't dare to look at him. Yes, City Lord. Ta-ta-ta-ta. The group of violet-robed guards flew into the sky, and underneath the city, there was a robust and burly man carrying an incomparably large axe on his back. He had a simple and honest expression as he stroked his bald head. Boss, is it you? That's right. He was Li Yuanba. The 8 King Kong had awoken, but he was the only one who came out of his slumber to look for Long Fei. No matter how you look at it, exterminating an inheritance is the style of a boss. Whatever. Let's go take a look first. Li Yuanba slowly retreated into the crowd. In the span of a moment, the entire unknown region of the primal chaos was discussing the Longevity Palace. It was the same in Qinyang City, where the Qin clan was located. The current Thousand Sun City was no longer the same as it had been in the past. The Qin family had become a true ruler. In the Qin family, dozens of people were gathered. These people all had extremely powerful cultivations. The lowest among them was at the 8th level of Paragon. Seems like the matters of this longevity palace are caused by Long Fei. Doggy, you really can't stop. It just so happens that this time, we will let him know what it means by there is no path to heaven and no door to escape. The Qin clan patriarch spoke. In the previous battle, their Qin family had suffered heavy losses. Fortunately, he was still alive. As long as he was alive, the Qin family would not fall. Patriarch Qin, don't get too worked up. You heard the words of the Lord of Chaos. Now is not the time for revenge. The most important thing is for Wu Yue to inherit great Emperor Feng Tian's power. At that time, with our support, we will definitely be able to compete for the God of Boundary. Let that little bastard live a little longer. A few of them spoke up. Good, everyone is right. Now is not the time to be in a hurry. The Qin clan patriarch said, if Long Fei was here, he would definitely recognize these people. They had come here from the divine space. Lin family, Zhou family, the underworld clans of the divine space. The scene changed again as Long Fei walked into the endless darkness while carrying the hemp garment along with him. This was a place without any line of sight. Master, there's something strange about this place. It seems to be different from what I expected. The linen robe spoke in a low voice, his face cold. Previously, she was willing to follow Long Fei into this place because she wanted to fulfill her long-cherished wish. However, the more she left, the more she felt that something was wrong. It was true that there was the power of longevity in it, but it was completely different from the one she had come into contact with all those years ago. Long Fei nodded and said, even if it really is the tomb of the great Emperor Changsheng, after all these years, you still don't know what it will become. As Long Fei said this, he took out a cluster of flames from the spatial ring, a fire that could shine in the world. As soon as the flame was extracted, it seemed to have received a reaction and was activated once more. Puff puff. The flame grew larger and larger. In just a few seconds, it had illuminated a radius of several hundred miles. Even the Abyss Demon Prison could be broken, so what if the big tomb? Long Fei thought as he rubbed his fists together. He had seen this cluster of fire before. This was the reason why Long Fei had relied on this to save them from the prison at that time. Master, I didn't think that this flame could have such an effect. He heaved a sigh of relief. A ray of light would always make people feel more at ease. Long Fei did not say anything. Following that, Long Fei looked at the entire space. It was extremely spacious, to the point that not even a coffin could be seen. Furthermore, not even a tomb could be seen. Could it be a mistake? For a great emperor to be so poor? Long Fei was in disbelief. This was not the first time he had entered Powerhouse's tomb. However, this was the first time he had seen such a powerful aura. Big brother, it's not here. I feel like it's down there. Suddenly, Yi said. Long Fei turned around to look at the Aya behind the sackcloth and asked, you can feel it? That's right, big brother. I saw a figure walking in front and wanted me to follow him down. Yi replied. Immediately, Long Fei's scalp went numb. Abruptly, Long Fei turned around, but he could not see any figure at all. Long Fei thought as he glanced at hempen clothes. He saw that he also shook his head slightly. All right, let's go with him. I want to see what's so strange about it. Long Fei hardened his heart and said, let me show you the way. But just as Long Fei took a step forward along the direction that Yaya was pointing at, her back suddenly froze, and even the world shining fireworks started to flicker. It was as if someone was lying on his back and blowing out cold air. Talking about longevity, remembrance of longevity, meeting a few people on the path of longevity. Seek longevity, long life, and there will be someone to welcome you at the end of your longevity. Insheng, draw longevity in the tomb of longevity. There is longevity. 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 Long Fei's face changed when he heard it. The voice was enchanting and had the power to corrode people's hearts, as though it wanted them to sleep here forever. What is it? How could it affect me? Long Fei raised the flames of the shining world high up in the air, his eyes staring straight into the void. Finally, under the shine of the firework, he saw an extremely special existence. That's not it. Ghost. Of course, he wasn't human either. It was a shadow. How many years have I wandered around? And how many years have I spent singing the song Eternal Rest here? Long Fei sighed in his heart. How deep must one's obsession be to cause such a crazy thing to happen? However, when Long Fei looked at Ma Yi and Yiya, he discovered that their expressions did not change at all. It was as if that kind of voice was only audible to him. Didn't you find anything? Long Fei asked in surprise. Big brother, they said that you are special and can enter the Emperor's tomb. Also saying that Granny is an old friend, you can also go in. Yi suddenly said. Long Fei's expression instantly became gloomy. Yaya wouldn't lie to him. In other words, what he saw might not be complete, and there was something else in the tomb. Hempen Clothed also had a face full of horror. Towards their level, Chi Mei was like a demon. Even if there really was one, they would have to take a detour if they saw one. But now, they were completely ignored. Even if the other party was standing right in front of them, they would not be able to sense it. Master, why can't I see anything? Hempen Clothed asked. This kind of scene was as if an ordinary person was in a terrifying house. However, there were already a group of people standing at the peak. What devilish strength dared to come close to them was simply courting death. Long Fei's face darkened. Ember of the world, take pictures. Long Fei raised the cluster of flames in his hand, and the color of the flames instantly changed. It turned from a milky white to a dark green, then blue, and finally a fiery red. So. Flames exploded, as if wanting to envelop the entire space. In an instant, 4 figures appeared before Long Fei. Long Fei was also shocked. Tisk TSK, so it was produced by the system after all. If you King keep acting mysterious, then I will destroy you with a single punch. Long Fei raised the fire, took a step forward, releasing the blood energy, and immediately suppressed the 4 figures. Come on, continue singing. You even King collaborated to watch how awesome you are. Long Fei said proudly. These figures didn't have any physical entities at all, just a shadow. In front of Long Fei's power, he could not resist at all, and his body trembled. Please spare my life, my lord. We are pitiful people. Only by luring more people into this place can we be free. They were afraid that if they were to say something too slow, they would lose their souls. Seduction. Long Fei repeated himself. He had already guessed that this tomb was not simple. Following that, Long Fei inquired in detail. It was clear that they were also people who were searching for the tomb. However, after entering this space, they were led into the palace. In the end, he died, leaving behind only an afterimage. To continue his actions, to continue his enticement. It was as if they were reincarnated. Once a new wave arrived, they would be free. Hearing this, Long Fei and Hempsey broke out in cold sweat. It was a good thing that they were on fire. Otherwise, an accident might have happened during this trip. What kind of existence is under this tomb? Long Fei asked. Lord, we don't know. That year, we were also lured into this large tomb by that grandson, palace head Changshen. Before we could go down, our souls were directly assaulted, leaving behind only one soul. Yes, that damnable palace master longevity. If possible, I will make my descendants take revenge for me. Long Fei listened, looked at the 4 of them, and said, It's impossible because he's already dead. With that, Long Fei turned to look at Yiya. He could see the desire in her eyes. Fuck, it's done. Wealth comes from danger. Long Fei looked around and made a decision. You 4 get down. Long Fei said, Lord, please don't. We are already a remnant thought. There's a great terror inside. We'll die if we go. My lord, we won't stop you. Quickly go in. Even now, the 4 of them were still bewitching. They tricked Long Fei and the other 3 into leaving, but they themselves did not dare to approach. Die. All you have been dead for tens of thousands of years, and are still afraid of death. A mere remnant will, yet it feels like it's still alive. What a pity. You can leave now. Long Fei sneered. This was the legendary dream talk. He didn't even know that he was already dead, yet he was still delusional enough to think of relief. Long Fei swept his palm out. Whoosh! The wind from his palm billowed everywhere, causing the entire space to become chaotic. The four figures were all afterimages in the first place, and not a single shadow could be seen. How could they withstand Long Fei's power? They were blasted straight into the front. Follow him, Long Fei said, and took the lead to walk out. To Long Fei, the grave of the Longevity Emperor was just a summoning of a boss. A boss was experience and a treasure. It was a massive explosion. How could Long Fei let them go? While carrying her on his back, the hempen-clothed man also quickly followed up with Long Fei. Time passed minute by minute. Long Fei controlled the four of them and kept on moving forward. But in this space, it seemed as if there was no end to it. 3 days later, Long Fei's footsteps suddenly stopped. According to their speed, 3 days was enough for them to travel 10,000 miles. But now, they still hadn't found the true tomb. What's wrong? How big was the Longevity Mountain? How could we have not found the tomb, even after walking 10,000 li away? Could it be another maze? Long Fei thought, and was about to use his sky spill power. However, right at this moment, those four figures began to slowly dissipate, as if they had lost the support of some sort of power. No, I don't want to die. I can't go any further. I'm going to die. After a few screams, their figures disappeared completely. At the same time, a series of rumbling sounds erupted from the darkness. Ruiuwumbumble. The earth suddenly cracked open, and a dark red palace quietly emerged. Long Fei took a step back, placing the linen and Aya behind him. Gradually, the entire palace revealed itself. It was a dark red like blood, and even Long Fei could feel an extreme pressure on his heart. This aura? Is this really Emperor Chongqing's tomb? Why do I feel like it's more like the tomb of a zombie king? Long Fei looked at the palace that just appeared and said, the aura of this palace was very cold, without the slightest hint of longevity. To keep others at a distance, one would not have the desire to possess. Big brother, I feel inside. The thing that has been calling me all this time is inside. He suddenly said. A dark red palace stood in the darkness. A dark red palace stood in the darkness. It gave people goosebumps. If not for the fire in his hands, Long Fei suspected that he might not even be able to make it here. Long Fei looked at the palace in front of him with rapt attention. It was extremely damaged, and the power of the passage of time had already caused the palace to rot. Even if it's the tomb of the eternal emperor, I'm afraid that there's nothing left of him now. Long Fei thought. However, since they had already reached the entrance of the palace, Long Fei naturally did not turn back. Moreover, Yai said that there was something inside that needed to be summoned, so Long Fei wanted to go in and take a look himself. Come, let's go in. Long Fei took a step forward and arrived in front of the palace. Looking at the ghastly aura spreading out from the palace, Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and he threw a punch out. Boom! The palace door directly ruptured. Without saying a word, Long Fei placed the firewood onto his killing machine, and as if holding a torch, he walked in step by step. Hempen-clothed did not dare to stay as they entered together. Boom! Suddenly, the already shattered palace gates collapsed and tightly sealed the exit. Long Fei turned around and glanced back, but didn't pay any attention to him. He had seen too many of these scenes in his previous life. After all, this was the tomb of a great emperor. If nothing strange happened, Long Fei would feel that it was abnormal. Mai, you've protected yourself from the pressure. I want to see just what kind of power this tomb has. Long Fei said as he walked forward. Very quickly, the entire palace appeared before them. The furnishings in the palace were extremely simple. A coffin. They were all coffins. 13 coffins stood side by side. It was as if there was some sort of secret contained within them. The size of each coffin was also different. One of them didn't even have a lid, as if the existence inside had already run out. Master, this should be the tomb of Emperor Changsheng. These 13 coffins are the 13 generals who are with the emperor. Hempen-clothed man said with a serious face. 13 generals? Long Fei's eyes revealed joy, especially when he saw the empty coffin. He immediately became excited and said, "Was that one of the people summoned by that short-lived ghost just now?" Long Fei asked. Long Fei felt an impulse in his heart. It was to shatter all these coffins. Each iron armor soldier had one undead power, so these existences were 12 undead power S. Ha ha ha. This won't do. We must definitely kill all of them. A single undead power allowed the undying body to extend itself for 1 minute and completely refined it. This is invincible. Long Fei's heart surged. Mai lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Then he said, "It should be. The aura inside this coffin is the same as the one summoned by that kid from the Longevity Palace." "Then that's enough. Just wait here. Once I kill this group of people, we'll go dig the grave of Emperor Changsheng." As Long Fei spoke, he did not wait for Hempen-clothed to speak anymore. He immediately held onto his killing weapon and smashed it into one of the coffins. Boom! Wong. Asterisk, the huge shockwave reverberated in a deafening manner. Long Fei's figure flew backwards for more than 10 meters before stopping. However, there was nothing different about the coffin. It did not open, nor did it crack. Damn, it's this tough. Long Fei cannot believe it. Although he was not sure what material was used to refine it, Long Fei was sure that even if it was a divine space's treasure, it would still not be safe and sound in front of the super artifact. But now, not a single trace was left on the coffin. How is that possible? Long Fei did not believe it. He turned his big killing weapon into a huge mountain and smashed it down again. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The entire space shook even more violently, and even the hemp garment couldn't stand stably. When the trembling disappeared, Long Fei went forward. This time, he was completely silent. There was still no change to the coffin. "What are you doing? Are you joking with me?" Long Fei was anxious. He had originally thought that after flipping over a dozen coffins, he would see a dozen undead power S exploding out, directly going against the heavens. But now, he couldn't even take the first step, which made Long Fei angry. "Master, this is mystical chaos iron. Just the ore is superior to the super artifact and cannot be broken through." The linen robe man said. "Mysterious chaos metal?" Long Fei was startled. This was truly something he had never heard of before. However, from what Mai said, he could tell that the ore was actually above the super artifact, which made Long Fei a little nervous. Right now, his weapon was only a great killing weapon, and if he were to use this or to recreate it, his level might even increase. But now, this was the equivalent of guarding a treasure mountain. If he could not even open the big killing weapon, Long Fei was helpless. "Master, this should require Emperor Changsheng's command medallion in order to summon it. The 13 generals were raised by the Emperor of Life, and they only obey the orders of the Emperor of Life. And that kid from Longevity Palace used the Imperial Edict to summon it." Just as Long Fei was feeling gloomy, Mai suddenly said, "The Immortal Emperor token? Haha. As expected, the system has a foresight for you." Long Fei laughed loudly as he directly took out the Emperor Badge of Life from the spatial ring. "Open!" Long Fei shouted loudly. Creak! Creak! Instantly, as Long Fei's voice fell, the 12 coffins began to shake, and the sound of friction appeared one after another. It was as if something was about to walk out from inside. Long Fei's eyes lit up. "He's here." Boom! Asterisk, a coffin lid flew off. Boom! 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 The remaining 11 coffins all flew into the air. The excitement in Long Fei's eyes became stronger and stronger. Initially, he had thought that he would only be able to open one of the Eternal Emperors. He hadn't expected that he would be able to open them all at once. Then, Long Fei looked at the coffin and waited silently. Dong, dong, dong. It was like a massive earthquake. The sound of heavy footsteps appeared once again. Next, a voice resounded. 2 figures clad in armor, crawled out of the coffins. Plop! He immediately knelt down. Without the slightest bit of surprise, he immediately knelt down. Long Fei was startled, but quickly understood. Now that he had the Immortality Imperial Medallion in his hands, these existences had to obey his orders. Awesome, they actually got such a group of super fighters without even fighting. Long Fei felt extremely comfortable in his heart. This feeling was simply too refreshing. He had originally thought that he would have to engage in a fierce battle, but who would have thought that he would be able to get his hands on a command medallion? The only thing that troubled Long Fei was whether or not these people wanted to stay or kill him. They were a group of super thugs, but if that was the case, then he wouldn't be able to level up his Reaper physique. But then, Long Fei made up his mind. He had the God's Pavilion now, and there were a few supreme powerhouse among them, so he didn't need these thugs. Their true value would be better used to help themselves. Thinking up to here, Long Fei moved his idea and directly ordered his own destruction through the Immortal Emperor token. Crack! 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 One after another of armor shattered. Under Long Fei's orders, all the existences crawling out of the coffins were immediately destroyed without any rebuttal. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining Undead Power 12. Ding! Undead power has been consumed. Simple Berserk. Simple Berserk. Without delay, the order was passed down and all 12 undead power were devoured, completing the order in an instant. Long Fei's heartbeat sped up. With his current abilities, an immortal body was absolutely a trump card. No matter how powerful one's trump card was, there was only one prerequisite. One could survive. With an immortal body, one could have one more second of time to reverse the outcome. Therefore, Long Fei was currently looking forward to it. Initially, the undead power had allowed the time for the immortal body to extend for 1 minute. Then what about these 12? 12 minutes? If it was really like that, then 10 or so minutes of King death would be more than enough time for Long Fei to kill a peak Great Perfection boss. At this time, the system began to prompt. Ding! Congratulations, player. Leveling up with the immortal body, time will be extended to 5 minutes. Immediately, Long Fei was furious. System, are you King messing with me? One undead power was extended for 1 minute? 12 lines. Even if you King increased it by 1 minute, he couldn't bear it any longer. Sometimes, he even felt that the system was not controlled by a single person. Completely emotional, give it a big bang when you're happy, and perfunctory when you're not. But Long Fei did not receive any response. Shortly after, another system notification popped up. Ding! Congratulations, player. Undying body leveled up to the second form, Absolute Super Body. Attribute: Defense Berserk. Description: Absolute Monarch Sanctuary, isolated from all physical attacks. Absorbing attack damage, releasing Berserk. The more damage you take, the stronger your Berserk power will be. Long Fei stood there in a daze. Upon hearing the system's prompt, the anger on his face immediately disappeared. Then, it turned into a welcoming smile. Haha, system, I didn't say anything just now. You are simply too adorable. If you were a girl, I would definitely spoil you for you alone. Long Fei immediately said. Absolute Tyrant Body. The stats were truly amazing. In his previous undying body, if he were to take damage, it would be a true injury. If he were to come in contact with an irresistible force, he would be able to defend. Even if he didn't die, he would definitely bleed. But now it was different. With an absolute tyrant body, activating the immortal body was equivalent to having a human shield, standing there for you to hit. If you can move, then it's my loss. Moreover, there was one more Berserk beast, able to absorb all the damage and release it. This kind of scene, just thinking about it, made Long Fei excited. Ha! Let's go. The grave of the Longevity Emperor is mine for sure. Long Fei came to the side of Hempsey with a surging wave. He had a puzzled expression, but after following Long Fei for so long, she had already gotten used to Long Fei's sudden emotional changes. Master, are we really going to open the tomb of the Emperor? Hempen Clothed asked. Long Fei nodded without hesitation. I know that you have feelings for Emperor Changsheng. But now that you have seen it for yourself, a lot of accidents have happened in this tomb. I believe you also want to know the reason behind the death of the immortal emperor. Long Face said casually, completely perfunctory. Millions of years had passed. Even if this tomb really was Emperor Chongqing's tomb, it would still be impossible to find anything. However, the linen-robed man was convinced and nodded his head resolutely. Following that, Long Fei looked toward Yaya. Yaya, can you still feel the power of the summoning? Long Fei asked. This was also the key reason why he was determined to open Emperor Chongqing's tomb. Now that he had absorbed and refined the fruit of the divine body, he could be said to be a growing emperor of longevity. If there really was some kind of opportunity in this great Emperor Chongqing's grave that could make this girl become even stronger, Long Fei would definitely fight for it. Big brother, I can feel it. However, that aura was so oppressive, just like how I felt right before I died. As he spoke, his eyes began to turn red and tears began to well up in his eyes. All right, little ant, don't cry, Long Fei said as he frowned. Now he looked like a typical baby. From the looks of it, it didn't look more than a full moon. Furthermore, adding on the fact that you hesitated to do everything for Long Fei, it caused Long Fei to favor you even more. As a result, when Long Fei saw that Yaya wanted to cry, his head immediately hurt. Yaya finally quieted down, but her face was still dejected. Long Fei sighed and looked ahead. It was a huge coffin. It couldn't even be described as a coffin anymore. This coffin was as big as a mountain, and as it floated in the air, it was extremely terrifying. No matter what it is, I must get it, Long Fei said. His body moved and instantly shot up into the sky. Whoosh! The wind whizzed past his ears, but Long Fei completely ignored it. Boom! Asterisk. Long Fei's figure heavily landed on the top of the huge coffin, stirring up endless dust. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The entire coffin began to shake, swinging left and right. Long Fei only felt an invisible hand reaching out from the coffin and grabbing his neck. The enormous pressure made it difficult for Long Fei to breathe. However, there was nothing in his eyes. This was because when he had entered the palace, the darkness had already dissipated. But he didn't expect it. This space once again returned to darkness. Flames that shine in the world, light it up for me. Long Fei's mind moved, and once again he caught fire. Boom! Flames spread in all directions. Finally, he was able to clearly see the existence before his eyes. F***CK. Even Long Fei couldn't help but exclaim in shock at this moment. The scene before Long Fei stupefied him. This kind of existence completely exceeded Long Fei's knowledge. This was a huge corpse. Just this skeleton alone was as thick as a dragon's body. Is this fellow even human? Long Fei was shocked, and the power that had captured Long Fei was now right in front of him. It was nothing more than an aura, a breath that came from the nostrils of the corpse. He's not dead yet. How is this possible? Long Fei's heartbeat sped up. If someone said that the skeleton could breathe, Long Fei would definitely think that the other party was crazy. But now he saw it with his own eyes. Even if he didn't want to admit it, he couldn't. What was even more terrifying was that this aura did not seem to want to harm Long Fei, but instead seemed to have sensed some sort of inexplicable power, as if it was searching for him. Whiz! At this moment, the immortal emperor token that was hidden in the space suddenly jumped. Long Fei's mind stirred, and he took out the emperor's medallion of longevity. But just as he took out the immortal emperor token, all the giant corpses inside the coffin suddenly stood up. The huge skeleton's eye sockets flickered with a dark gray light. Crack! 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 Immediately after, the corpse began to crack and transform into strands of the purest power of longevity, crazily surging into the immortal emperor token. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds later, the entire corpse had turned into dust and vanished without a trace. Only the dark gray energy was still surging violently. This is a mark? The seal of life? Long Fei's eyes widened as he looked towards the distant Yet another mark. Yet another mark. Long Fei became more and more impulsive as he went to build an army of emperors. Zhang Yu was currently within the corruption imprint, and now he had formed another imprint of life. Clearly, this must be the power that was constantly summoned in her heart. Ha ha! One mark represents one great emperor. There are still 2 months before the god of boundary qualification station. At that time, with a wave of my hand, a few existences that can truly become great emperors will appear. I wonder what kind of reputation these so-called great emperors will have. TSK. I can't wait to think of this. Long Fei laughed. At this moment, a loud explosion resounded. The coffin that was truly like a giant mountain once again began to shake. Long Fei did not dare to stay and jumped down. Let's go. This place is about to collapse. Long Fei said. Long Fei did not explain too much about what he saw in the coffin. As for that corpse, Long Fei was sure that it was not the immortal emperor, because right now in his space, there was also the secret key to the Tomb of Life. This was something that the system's striking value had dropped. Long Fei definitely did not believe it was just a joke. However, the entire tomb was about to collapse, so Long Fei naturally could not continue to explore. Of course, Long Fei didn't plan on letting go of the mysterious Chaos Iron. It didn't matter if he couldn't break it. There would definitely be a way to refine it in the future. It was definitely not Long Fei's style to keep these powerful beings alive. Even their tombs have been dug, and they still had something to leave behind. Does not exist. So. Long Fei continued to hold onto the coffins tightly, and kept the 12 coffins into his spatial space. As for the biggest one, Long Fei gave it up immediately. Not to mention being caught red-handed. Even if the dragon were to move itself, it might not be able to do so at all. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The collapse of the tomb became faster and faster. The entire space became increasingly unstable. Let's go. Long Fei arrived at the side of Hempen Clothed, and without saying a word, carried the 2 of them into the air and instantly charged out. The original location of the Longevity Palace, in a pile of ruins. One violet armored guard after another descended, staring at the Longevity Palace, which no longer existed. A wave of coldness spread across their faces. It seems that we are still too late. There is no one left here. Even the mountain of longevity has collapsed. It seems like the enemy is trying to obliterate all traces of the corpses. It looks like I can only return empty-handed this time. Several purple armored guards spoke to each other, their faces ice-cold without a trace of emotion. At this moment, one of the armored guards looked forward, his eyes bursting with killing intent. "Sir, there's a kid that came out of there," an armored guard said. The purple-clothed leader suddenly turned around and looked at the disheveled figure that drilled out from the rubble. "Go, capture him," the purple-clothed general ordered. So. A few figures suddenly flew down from the sky. At this time, Long Fei was shaking his head, releasing the Mai, Yi, and Yiya who were protecting him behind him. Before he could say anything, he felt a surge of killing intent. Long Fei raised his head and saw a few purple-armored guards descend in front of him. "Kid, come with us," the guard said expressionlessly. "Follow you?" Long Fei asked. After crawling out from the grave and almost getting buried, Long Fei was already very unhappy. Who would have thought that they would encounter such a situation right after they reached the ground? What made Long Fei even more unhappy was that these people actually wanted to kill him. Cut the crap. Don't you dare talk back to the sky, Cloud Godly Armor. I think you're tired of living. Why be angry? He's nothing more than an ant. Take him away immediately and hand him to the Lord. The armored guard immediately rushed forward to capture Long Fei. Long Fei's gaze turned cold, and he immediately raised his head to look at the few of them. "What are you looking at? He's just a trash of an ancient supreme expert. Do you still want to struggle?" I'm gonna die from laughter. The ignorant is fearless. Let me tell you, your father's cultivation is already at the peak of the ancient powers. With a single step, I can reach the supreme great complete realm. Super perfection, do you understand? It's a piece of trash like you that would never be able to reach that level in your entire lifetime. When one of the armored guards saw the anger in Long Fei's eyes, he even taunted him without concealing anything. A lifetime? It's impossible in the next life. Maybe he doesn't have a next life. After the Lord finishes questioning him, I will kill him with a single slash. Another 2 blatant taunts. Even a clay figurine would feel a bit angry. Furthermore, ever since Long Fei had embarked on the path of cultivation, he had never been the master of grievances. Unhappy, extreme displeasure. Hempen clothed, you return to God's pavilion. Long Fei said in a serious tone. Hempen clothed slightly hesitated, but immediately knew. Long Fei was going to kill someone. Master, you don't need to do anything to these bastards. I will handle them. The linen-robed man said. No need, I'll do it myself. It makes me unhappy, so it won't be a problem for anyone. Long Fei said, and added, Yaya, you're already in a deep sleep with the imprint of longevity. You need to pay attention to this at all times. Hempen clothed hurriedly nodded his head. So it turned out that the moment Long Fei fled while carrying his hemp clothes and Yaya actually directly held onto the mark of longevity, and following the contact between the two, her entire body was actually sucked in. If not for Zhang Yu saying that it would be beneficial to her, Long Fei would not have been able to resist from smashing his imprint to pieces. Rest assured, Master, I will definitely take good care of this girl. After she finished speaking, she was directly dragged into the god's pavilion by Long Fei. Following that, Long Fei immediately turned around to look at the purple armored guard. It really is a bit strange. Looks like you still have treasures that can carry strangers with you. However, so what? When you die, these things will all be ours. The purple armored guard said as he walked towards Long Fei. But just at that moment, Long Fei moved. The great killing weapon instantly made its move. A blade flashed, and the head was directly beheaded. The armored guard didn't even have time to react until his head landed on the ground, a savage smile still plastered on his face. The system beep also appeared at the same time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying the purple-robed armor, obtaining 10,000 experience points, 1 holy source point, and 1 striking value point. Just as Long Fei expected, other than experience, there was nothing else. However, Long Fei did not mind. Killing him was just for the sake of being straightforward. As for the remaining 3 armored guards, their expressions instantly went grim. They had never thought that Long Fei would actually still dare to attack. Kid, you're dead for sure. Who gave you the guts to dare attack us? The purple robe guards. Give me your life. Kill. The other 3 moved at the same time, the long spear in their hands thrusting forth. The killing intent was dense. But to Long Fei, this degree was equivalent to nothing. Even if it was purely based on strength, Long Fei could easily crush the 3 of them. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei brandished his big killing weapon, one by one, without the slightest surprise. Insolent bastard, how dare you attack my purple robe guard? Die. Right at this moment, a purple ray of light descended from the sky. The violet light rose to the heavens, filling the 9th heaven. The violet light rose to the heavens, filling the 9th heaven. The purple light descended from the sky and directly formed a huge net. Sigh. Asterisk, asterisk, sigh. Asterisk around the net. The power of lightning also spread out. Without even looking, it was used to capture someone else. Crash. Asterisk, the purple net descended. Furthermore, the speed of the magical net was extremely fast. Just as Long Fei reacted, he had already been captured. CK your grandpa. Long Fei cursed in pain. Even though the damage it dealt wasn't high, Long Fei still felt a burning numbness in his body that made him quiver. Just as he was about to struggle free, another silhouette descended from the skies. Long Fei looked over with anger. What are you looking at? You dog. Do you think you can break free from this general's net? Don't be delusional. This is something that the Tianyun City Lord created by collecting chaos lightning. It is meant to suppress you bunch of vicious bandits. The leader of the purple-clad generals said. Lord Violet robed mightily. It was just a single magic treasure, but he was able to subdue this thug. It's a pity for 3 brothers, but it doesn't matter. This boy has already been subdued. Soon, you will be buried with them. You dog struggling? The more you struggle, the more you will feel the power of the heavenly thunder. Trash! He still dares to resist. A group of armor guards behind the violet-robed man spoke out. Long Fei did not say a word. He was still as cold as ever. Take him away. Once we reach the Tianyin city, we will have thousands of ways to kill him. As the purple-robed youth spoke, he turned around and was about to leave. However, at this moment, a hint of unease suddenly appeared in his heart. The entire chaos sky suddenly turned dark and gloomy. Black clouds pressing down on the city, the mountains and seas urging it. One could even see streaks of chaos lightning brewing within it. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Soon after, the sound of rolling thunder could be heard. Then he suddenly turned around, only to see that a cluster of light and fire was revolving inside Long Fei's hand. Kid, what did you do? The purple-clothed holy general said. Long Fei sneered. Didn't you say that the broken net was created by some kind of Tianyin city's mayor? This old man will add some ingredients for you. Long Fei's smile became more and more sinister, and he suddenly looked towards the sky. Chaotic tribulation lightning, come. As if he was provoking someone, the eastern seeding was getting faster and faster in Long Fei's hands. Finally, a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky. Long Fei had long since been prepared for this. The moment this chaos heavenly thunder descended from the sky, the world broke free from its bindings. Rip! The magic net shattered, and Long Fei threw it straight at the purple-clothed general's body. Instantly, a tragedy occurred. All of the primal chaos lightning seemed to have lost its target, falling onto the violet-clothed general's body. As for Long Fei, he coldly watched from the side. I want you dead. Crack, crack, crack. The heavenly thunder continued to crash down. Even some of the violet-clothed guards beside him weren't able to survive and were all dragged into this mess. What kind of power is this? Don't pull me. Scram, stay away from me. Don't you know that the heavenly thunder can be transmitted? The sound of struggling and wailing filled the entire space. Long Fei remained unmoved. Finally, a moment later, the power of the divine lightning disappeared. The group of purple-robed cultivators had long since been covered in the black lacquer of the divine lightning. They no longer had their previous arrogance. Long Fei took a step forward and stepped onto Ziyi's body. Go on, continue shouting. Purple Armor Guard, is it that amazing? Who gave you the courage? Liang Jingru? With every word that Long Fei said, he kicked down. In just a few breaths, the purple-clothed officer was already on the verge of death. Even if he was already at the level of great perfection, his cultivation was deep and profound. However, it was still useless. Long Fei's strength was just too strong, not to mention that after experiencing the dazzling primal chaos heavenly thunder, he no longer had much of a defense. Brat, you are courting death. Injuring me is equivalent to provoking Tianyin City. There is no one in this world who dares to not talk about the people in my Tianyin City's eyes. Little bastard, just wait for the endless chase. Ziyi said with difficulty. Long Fei smiled lightly. Injuries? I'm afraid you're thinking too much. For people that I don't like, I only have one method, kill me. This is your first time being a human. Who gave you the right to be arrogant in front of me? I should get used to you, right? Long Fei said, his eyes turned cold, then suddenly unleashed his power. The purple-robed general's head was immediately smashed apart by Long Fei's kick. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying purple-robed descendant. Obtained 40,000 experience, 40,000 holy source points, 1 striking value. Ding! Congratulations player on obtaining purple-robed battle armor. Ding! Congratulations to the player for obtaining a purple cloak token. Ding! A purple suit was a piece of trash that was worth nothing. Did not care about something like this at all. Following that, Long Fei looked at the remaining armored guards. These guards were all on the verge of death. The power of the chaos lightning was extremely powerful, and it contained the laws of the entire chaos world. To disobey was to suppress. Of course, Long Fei was an accident, and even if it was the primal chaos, heavenly thunder of the primal chaos, it would not affect him in the slightest. As for you two, go die too. Long Fei's gaze turned, revealing his killing intent. As a person, you have to be the best. Long Fei did not leave the habit of adding fuel to the fire. Therefore, Long Fei did not plan to leave any survivors. But right at this moment, the god's pavilion in the space suddenly moved and actively contacted Long Fei. What's wrong? Long Fei asked. Master, it has appeared. I can sense the aura of the Lord of the Soaring Plains. His aura is extremely weak right now. The god's pavilion said anxiously. The Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm? Isn't that the same as protecting you, Ro? Long Fei was startled, and immediately the evil aura exploded from his body. Where are they? Long Fei asked anxiously. After the god's pavilion gave him his answer, Long Fei did not hesitate at all and rushed to the sky. As for their lives or deaths, Long Fei was too lazy to care about them anymore. Because in his heart, even 10,000 of these armored guards wouldn't be able to compare to a single lord of the Planar Palace. Besides, the Planar Emperor had Euro by his side. You touch my woman and hurt my brother? Very well. No matter who you are, I will make sure you all die a horrible death. Long Fei said harshly in his heart as his figure turned into a streak of light and disappeared. And at this time, within the Tianyun city that was thousands of kilometers away, on top of a pavilion, a group of young ladies with flattering expressions were nestling against the body of a well-dressed youth. Next to the young man was an old man. The young man took a step forward and sent the heavily injured man flying with a kick. Old thing, let's fight. The woman I want has never been able to get out of my grasp. Since you're so desperate, this young master will show you my grandeur in front of you today. Blood gushed out like a spring as he glared with rage. Blood gushed out like a spring as he glared with rage. Even though he was being endlessly ravaged by the well-dressed youth, the person he had beaten gritted his teeth and glared at the well-dressed youth. This person was none other than the Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm. Just you wait. Wait until my master arrives. I can guarantee that you will be beaten until your mother won't even know you. The Lord of the Soaring Planar, enduring the pain, spoke with difficulty. Your master? Ha ha ha, what a joke. Without mentioning anything else, the people who dare to touch my child have not been born yet. What is your master? The well-dressed youth said. You'll know soon enough. The Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm said coldly, no longer saying anything. He allowed the youth in front of him to unleash his full power on him time and time again. At the side, tears were already streaming down her face. Stop, please. Don't keep fighting. If we continue to fight, he will die. Uro continued to struggle, but she was unable to break free from the bindings of the two. She could only helplessly cry. Not fight? All right, now that you're kneeling in front of me, I can consider it. The well-dressed youth coldly said. Uro was stunned, but soon a look of struggle appeared on her face. But in the end, resolution appeared in his eyes, as if he'd made some sort of decision. All right, I'll kneel, but you have to let him go first. Uro said. All right, he's just a dying dog. So what if I release him? The well-dressed youth laughed coldly, not caring at all what the Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm could do. The well-dressed youth waved his hand. The guards on both sides took a step back. The Lord of the Soaring Sky had finally regained his freedom. Mistress, you have to leave. In this instant, the Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm exploded with power. His figure instantly disappeared. He was the Lord of the Soaring Planar, and thus had the power of the soaring sky. Although his cultivation was not very strong, his speed was extremely fast, and he could instantly escape into the void. But this time, the Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm didn't try to flee. Long Fei's orders were to protect Uro. He definitely would not dare to disobey. Thus, in this instant, his target was the young man in front of him. As long as he could subdue the young man before him, everything would be settled. However, at this moment, the old man beside the well-dressed youth moved. Boom! Asterisk one punch. Just one punch. Even before the fish shadows dissipated, a loud sound could be heard. Cough! How is that possible? The planar lord's body slammed down heavily, smashing through the pavilion and falling down from the third floor to the first floor. You reckless dog. Is its speed that incredible? All the formations in this room are controlled by this old man. Nothing unusual can be hidden from my eyes. You still want to ambush us? The old man said coldly. Ha, you dog. Master and servant truly have a deep affection for each other. I'll give you a chance to spare your dog life. If you don't treasure it, then go and die for me now. As the well-dressed youth spoke, killing intent exploded from his eyes. Pow! The well-dressed youth, enraged, descended from the third floor, slapping the face of the lord of the soaring planar continent. Swish! 5 red seals appeared. The eyes of the planar lord were filled with hatred. He was the exalted and exalted lord of a plane. He was unrivaled and unrivaled. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Staring at me? And you dare to King stare at me? The entire Tianyun city is mine, and yet you dare to glare at me in the Tianyun city? Clap, clap. Another 2 slaps landed. The well-dressed youth was confident in himself, completely ignoring the look in the lord of the soaring sky realm's eyes. A huge tremor caused an outsider to visit. They pointed and pointed, and all of them looked as if they were just waiting to see a good show. TSK. There really is someone who isn't afraid of death. He actually dared offend the Gu Zither young master. There have always been a lot of brainless people. In this Tianyun city, if young Master Gu were to cover the sky with one hand, it would be a waste of his life if they were to die. Hey, a beauty is in trouble. Another girl is in trouble. TSK. With this looks and posture, if young Master Gu is tired of playing, then we can also sneak around once. Ha ha, look at your lecherous look. I want to say, if there is such a good thing, please take me with you. Taunt, lust, and indifference. Emotions exploded in the crowd. They were already used to it. He was already used to it. Instead, he had the same thoughts. He despised the master of the plane and despised Euro's lust. Plop! At this moment, a crisp sound rang out. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the third floor. Euro fell to his knees. Euro's face was wet with tears, but her eyes were filled with the will to die. Her helpless eyes were filled with melancholy. She had given up. At this moment, there was no hope in his heart. She had no way to ask for help, so she could only beg for mercy. Please let him go. She spoke weakly. Ha ha, I knelt. In the end, he still kneels down. The Zither let out a loud laugh. But it's too late. I gave you a chance just now. It's too late to kneel down now. If you want to save him, that's fine. Let's have a dance now. If I am happy, I might give you another chance. Guqin spoke with a charming face, her eyes filled with lust. Yu Ro's expression changed as an immense sense of humiliation overwhelmed her. But now, what could she do? She was only an array master. She didn't have much cultivation. Not only that, Yu Ro was too kind. She could die. She could give up her life. However, looking at how Fei Tian was being tormented in front of him, he felt as if his life was on the line. Her heart was in agony. Yu Ro looked troubled. She bit her lips and kept shaking her head. Mistress, no, definitely not. It doesn't matter if I die. Don't worry. Even if I die, I will still send you out. The Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm said in a low voice. At this moment, he was at the end of his tether, but his eyes were still filled with determination. The power of the heavens burn. The Lord of the Soaring Sky Realm gritted his teeth. In the next moment, all the blood chi in his body started to swell and even started to seep out of his skin. Self-detonation. Not good, young master. This old thing wants to self-destruct. Hurry up and push it away. The old man beside Guqin suddenly said. The Soaring Sky Realm wasn't weak at all. They were all at the supreme level of mastery. If it wasn't for Yu Ro, they wouldn't have been able to keep him. But now, such a powerhouse chose to self-destruct. No, no. The tears in Euro's eyes instantly burst forth. During their escape, Soaring Sky had carried her to escape danger after danger. In her heart, she had long since treated flying heaven as her own kin. But now, it looked like Fei Tian was going to self-destruct just to send him out. In this situation, she could only helplessly cry out. "No, Grandpa Fei Tian, please don't." Euro sobbed. "Mistress, I said I would send you out. When you get to the master's side, these bastards won't be able to hurt you anymore." The Lord of the Flying Sky said, "Come, let me show you what absolute speed is." His aura surged, and his blood energy burned. His aura surged, and his blood energy burned. The Lord of the Soaring Planar Continent was prepared to fight it out from the back of his hand. This was his fate. It was also his mission. "Mistress, you must survive. As long as you can find the owner, nothing will be a problem." As the Lord of the Soaring Sky realm spoke, the gentle light in his eyes vanished. In the next moment, his body vanished. He then transformed into a streak of blood-red light and pierced through the sky. When he appeared again, he was already by Euro's side. "Mistress, you must survive." Whiz! The blood-red light exploded. A blood-red light shot up into the sky. Guqin's expression changed. It's not trying to self-destruct. It's trying to escape. "Uncle Gu, keep them. If they run today, where would I, Guqin, put my face?" The zither roared in anger. At the same time, the old man beside him also died. "Heavenly fate, law web, come out." The old man let out a roar, and the sky immediately changed. Streaks of purple light filled the air, blocking out the very air around them. Sigh, asterisk, lightning crisscrossed, and violent heavenly thunder energy once again was released from the magic nets. Ah! A miserable scream sounded out as a bloody shadow slowly fell down from the void. "No!" Fei Tian bellowed. His final hope had been shattered. His eyes were bloodshot as he shed blood and tears. He was unwilling. In order to save Euro, he was willing to die. But now it still failed. He burned his vital energy and blood, erupting with the power of flying, although his speed was fast and happy. But could not break through the barrier above Tianyan City. It was smashed down heavily. "Ha ha, well done. Old thing, you still want to run?" In this Tianyan City, there is no woman that lousy cannot get. As the zither spoke, its eyes flashed with interest. The corner of his mouth curved into a smile as he grabbed onto Euro. Sigh, asterisk, the green robe on Euro's body was torn apart, revealing a large portion of her snow-white skin. Ah, so white. This skin, if I could only touch it, I would be willing to give up 2 years of my life. I heard he's an array master too. Young Master Gu has some fun tonight. I wonder if he has any other sisters. If I can enjoy one night, then that taste will not be for nothing. The gazes of the surrounding people all burst out. Euro was simply too attractive. She was a character in and of herself. And because of their melancholy, this group of beasts' nature was more aroused. Now that their coats had been torn apart by the zither, it made them even more restless. Ha ha, didn't you want to protect her? Come, this young master wants to fuck her right in front of your eyes. So what can you do? Keep shouting. The zither moved like crazy, and another group of zither pieces fell. Sigh. Asterisk Euro wanted to cry, but had no tears. She hugged herself tightly to protect herself. Damn it, bitch, you still dare to dodge. Being favored by your father is your fortune. Since you refuse a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit, this young noble will let you perform directly in front of everyone. I'll make you someone who can marry anyone. The zither walked forward again. Like a trapped beast, Euro continued to retreat on the ground. No, no. If you have the guts, then kill us. If you have the guts, then kill us. Otherwise, when my master arrives, the entire Tianyun city will accompany him in death. The Lord of the Soaring Sky realm bellowed, his face covered with blood and tears. Ha ha, this person is a fool. He spoke such arrogant words and actually wanted my entire Tianyin city to accompany him in death. I would actually like to see what kind of thing his master is that would be so powerful. An old dog's last struggles. There was no need to pay attention to it. It was still a good show over here. He had a control on the spot. TSK, TSK. Even I can't help but feel a surge of emotions. One voice after another appeared. They were all people of the Tianyin city, and they completely disregarded soaring sky. More and more gazes were fixed on Yuro. That was what they wanted to see. Kill you? It's too cheap for you. This young master will make you beg for death. Today, this young master will ravage her in front of everyone in the city. I'll let you know what happens if you anger me. As the zither spoke, it walked in front of Yuro, a glance filled with viciousness and lust. As for Yuro, her eyes were already numb. She was waving her hands around as if she couldn't do it anymore. That meant that her array formation power was already in chaos and had no effect at all. Long Fei, where are you? Come quickly, save me. Yuro silently shouted in her heart. Looking at the approaching Guqin, his eyes were filled with hatred. Even if I die, I won't let you succeed. I'm a person who was born Long Fei, and death is Long Fei's soul. Yuro said. After saying that, she moved her palm and struck towards her forehead. Right at this moment, a resplendent light suddenly exploded from outside the crowd. Immediately after, a gigantic axe fell from the sky. Clang! The axe stood upright in front of Yuro, blocking the zither. Soon after, a 2-meter-tall man, rubbing his bald head, walked out with a silly smile on his face. A mistake, the brawny man said. Mistake. This young master sees you as courting death, you bastard. A cold light shot out of Guqin's eyes. He could feel the moment the axe landed. A towering, killing intent was born. Hey, you're right. You're courting death. However, the one seeking death is you. No one has ever dared to force my lord's woman like this. The brawny man said. That's right, this strong man was the King Kong, Li Yuanba. Originally, Li Yuanba had been in the crowd the entire time. They had been hesitating, wondering if this was related to Long Fei. Didn't hesitate any longer after he heard the name Yun Che. Since it had been confirmed, there was nothing to fear. Just a word, Dry. You're courting death. It seems like you know each other. That's great. I'll catch all of you in one fell swoop. This will make all of you lose hope. I love things that give people hope and also make them despair. Men, attack. Beat them to death. As the zither spoke, it took a step back. Shwa shwa shwa. Soon after, one figure after another descended. All of them were covered with violet armor. Purple armored guards, with the exception of this woman. All of them are extremely slow. The zither ordered. Li Yuanba's face still carried the simple and honest smile, as if the one they wanted to kill right now had nothing to do with him. But just as the violet-armored figure was about to make its move, Li Yuanba moved. A pair of axes were raised above his head. Puff! As the axe fell, the leader's head fell to the ground. You dare to touch my wife just like that? As long as you touch my sister-in-law, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. The result is the same. If you touch my sister-in-law, you will only have one word to describe her or die. As Li Yuanba said that, the axe in his hand smashed down crazily. One axe, one axe. They were not dishes at all. The more Li Yuanba killed, the crazier he became. The more Li Yuanba killed, the crazier he became. It was as though a sharp blade was slashing through the air, and the overwhelming number of violet-armored guards descended upon them. The dead vanished. Come on, be cocky. If I had known this was my sister-in-law, all of you would have been dead bodies. Tianyin City, is it that amazing? The women that touched my boss, it doesn't matter who you are. All of you die. Li Yuanba waved the axe in his hand. The axe was already stained with blood, and droplets of blood dripped down. Is he even human? He's simply a humanoid monster. Not good. Let's hurry up and leave. This is likely going to affect us. The surrounding people immediately panicked, their faces filled with incomparable fear. Li Yuanba's crazy killing intent caused their hearts to tremble, and they didn't dare look straight at him. This was especially true for those who had mocked him earlier, their expressions even more miserable. In the blink of an eye, all of them turned around and left. They didn't dare to stay at all. But right at this moment, Li Yuanba's gaze swept over them. You want to run away? Did I let you run away? With just trash like you, you dare trick my sister-in-law. You two are worthy of that. But since you've done it, then use your blood to repay your sins. Li Yuanba said as he threw the axe in his hand. Boom! The giant axe suddenly became larger, shielding the void. Pow! Ka! Asterisk, a few heads fell to the ground as the axe landed. Next, it's your turn. Li Yuanba turned around and caught the axe in his hand. It was heading towards the zither. Ancient! Save me! Save me! The zither was in chaos. Li Yuanba was too berserk. With each axe, the people he relied on in his eyes were all killed by the Li Yuanba family like vegetables. Therefore, right now, he could only plead for help. I can't call anyone. Do you think this old man can block my axe? You asked him to come up and give it a try? I'll make his brain go numb. Li Yuanba's face was trembling uncontrollably, still smiling. However, the smile was already extremely cold. It was extremely explosive. Indeed, when Li Yuanba's voice fell, although the old man's face was extremely ugly, he still did not make a move. He was also afraid. In the face of life and death, what young master, what young city lord, they were all bullshit. If he ran, he might be able to live. But if he stayed here, he would definitely die with the zither in the end. Ancient, what are you waiting for? Have you forgotten my father's orders? The zither spoke coldly. Order? Your brain is playing tricks on me. You want me to stay and die with you? This matter was caused by you. Why would you want me to send myself to my death? This old man will not keep you company. As the old man spoke, he turned around and was about to run away. But how could Li Yuanba tolerate this? The master of the realm is now also a follower of Long Fei, and he was the leader of the little brothers, Long Fei. The fact that he beat up the Lord so miserably almost made her humiliated. How could such an existence let him leave? It did not exist. With a thought, Li Yuanba instantly wielded his axe, and the axe flew straight down, landing on the old man's neck. Don't kill me. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just a servant of the Gu family. There's always someone who owes you a debt. If you want to kill him, go and kill him. The old man was trembling, especially his legs, which were now covered with a yellowish-white substance. He was scared to the point of peeing himself. It doesn't matter? Are you King blind? Didn't you attack him? If not for you, they would have left by now. An old dog like you deserves to die the most. Clang! Exerting a little more force, the axe descended and embedded itself deep into the old man's neck. One move. Die. On the other side, the zither seemed to have lost its final backing. With a resolute heart, he walked to the side of Yuro. Mistress! Fei Tian shouted, but was already too late. When Li Yuanba turned around, the zither was already in his hands. Haha! Why are you so arrogant? Try killing me again. If you dare to take another step closer, I can guarantee that this woman will die. TSK, is she still a virgin? Your boss is so King frustrated. Your woman is going to die if she doesn't sleep. The zither said crazily. Li Yuanba and Fei Tian's faces were filled with rage. The anger in his eyes was ignited. But now, they really didn't dare gamble. Suddenly, right at this time, petals began to fall from the sky in the Tianyan city. The petals formed layers upon layers of ice, enveloping everyone within. What was even more strange was that, at this moment, Gu Qin's face was filled with confusion. It was as if the petals were not the ones that had fallen. Instead, it was a delicate beauty. He let go of Yuro and began to dance in the falling petals. Even when he was in deep love, he would still play around with his head. Li Yuanba didn't pay any attention to her and directly took a step forward, protecting Yuro behind him. At the same time, the petals that filled the sky stopped. The two figures slowly descended. One of them was holding a mirror. In front of him was a young master dressed in white. Gu Qin, seeing that you are the son of Gu Xingdao, I'll let you live. My woman is not someone who anyone can touch. A voice sounded, full of pride. Guqin awoke from her stupor and looked at the white-clothed man in front of her, exclaiming in astonishment, "You are? That's impossible. Didn't your family have already been cut off?" "You." The zither was in a panic. His face became deathly pale, as if he had seen something extremely terrifying. Ignorance. There are some things that ants like you don't know. You only need to know that this girl is mine. If Gu Xingdao is dissatisfied, you can come straight to me. The white-clothed man said, "I, Bai Hao, have taught him how to conduct himself." Bai Hao said, "Scram." After Bai Hao finished speaking, he walked over to Yu Ro's side. "Let's go, I'll pick you up. From now on, you are my woman, and no one can hurt you." Bai Hao showed an expression of deep love. "Who are you?" "I don't know you." Yu Ro said, "What's the difference if I know him or not? You only need to know that we're the same kind of people." Bai Hao laughed and was about to grab Yu Ro's hand. But in Li Yuanba's eyes, this scene made him feel extremely unhappy. Very unhappy. "Who the F***ck are you? It's one thing for you to act cool, but you actually came here to steal my boss's woman? You still want to make a move? Do you really think that you're a myriad of people?" Li Yuanba said angrily as he stood in front of Yu Ro. Bai Hao's expression changed. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly raised his head. Not just him. Li Yuanba, Yu Ro, and Fei Tian all looked over at the same time. In an instant, everyone was overjoyed. "Boss, Long Fei, Master," the three of them spoke up at the same time. Whiz. Long Fei's figure descended, and he looked at Bai Hao, deep in thought. He then turned around and looked at the zither. "Leave? Hurt my brother? Touch my woman? You want to leave now? Who gave you the qualifications?" Long Fei's eyes flashed with a cold light, his killing intent exploding. In the next moment, Long Fei took a step forward. The great killing weapon directly appeared in his hand and heavily smashed down. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The earth cracked, as if the entire street was about to split open. If not for the formation maintaining Tianyun City, it would have already been destroyed. "Stop!" A purple light came from afar and protected the zither. A purple light came from afar and protected the zither. It directly blocked Long Fei's pole. "I wonder who gave you the guts to kill my son in this Tianyun City." A voice burst out from the purple light, and immediately after, a purple-robed elder appeared. It was the Tianyun City Lord. Gu Xingdao proudly stood there. His purple robe fluttered in the air as he arrogantly appeared. "Father." "Ha! Kid, my father is here. None of you will be able to escape today." Guqin's eyes immediately became excited. This was his backer. The reason he was able to call the wind and summon the rain in the Tianyun City and not do anything evil was all because of the ancient path. Is that Gu Xingdao's powerful strength and his identity as the Tianyun City's lord. "Come on, aren't you going to kill me? You're his master, you're his boss. Let me tell you, this young master is very angry. Also, I want your woman too." Guqin stood up and looked at Long Fei and the others arrogantly. But he didn't realize that Long Fei's expression was turning uglier and uglier. "Even now, you still want my woman. Tianyun City? Is the Tianyun City awesome? Don't even mention the Tianyun City. Even if it's the Sky Empire, I will still kill your father's woman." As Long Fei spoke, he continued to take 1,000 steps forward. The power of the killing weapon also decreased. The purple barrier began to crack, and cracks began to appear like the marks on a mountain peak. "Enough, brat. I do not care who you are, but you must know this is the Tianyun City, not some random cat or dog that can be arrogant. You want to kill my son in front of me? Who do you think you are? The Lord of Chaos? No one has ever dared to be so arrogant in front of me, even in the tens of thousands of years that the ancient Tao of the heavens has swept across the primordial chaos." Gu Xingdao said with a gloomy face. It was a completely unique attitude. Long Fei curled his lips, disagreeing. It seemed that all such existences were like this. It was the same as their F*** king bosses number 2. But did Long Fei care? Not at all. Moreover, to touch his woman had already touched his bottom line. His bottom line had already been moved. If he were to continue enduring it, then he wouldn't be a man. If he couldn't endure it any longer, then he would just have to be tough. Then you saw today. This young noble has always been so arrogant. Anyone who dares to touch my woman or harm my brother is not safe and sound. Even your son is the same. Boom. Asterisk Long Fei crushed it down instantly. The great killing weapon turning into a huge rod, instantly shattering the purple-colored barrier. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A huge rumble resounded throughout the world. The zither was immediately exposed to the killing weapon. Without that shell, I'll see who can stop you. Long Fei said fiercely. Then, Long Fei smashed down with his rod. You little bastard, you're courting death. Gu Xingdao attacked directly. On the other hand, killing intent could be seen in Bai Hao's eyes. With a flip of his hand, the copper mirror shined. At this moment, an unknown force appeared in the air. Long Fei only felt a flash before his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, everything was gone. The power of the sky spill. The F***CK. Long Fei was no longer unfamiliar with this power. He suddenly thought of everything he had experienced in the endless forest. Break for me. Long Fei also had the power of the sky spill. He instantly washed them into his eyes and saw through the falsehood in his eyes. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The white fog disappeared and returned to reality. However, Gu Qin's figure had already disappeared. In just a split second, he was saved by Gu Xingdao. Long Fei turned around and stared at Bai Hao with anger. If it wasn't for Bai Hao, the zither from before would have already become a corpse. Bai Hao looked at him with disdain and said, "What are you looking at? Do you think I'm trying to harm you? I'm saving you. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't help you out on behalf of Sister Ro, you would have committed a great calamity. Remember, I saved your life as repayment for the care you gave Sister Ro. In the future, you and Sister Ro have no relations at all, so get the hell out of here with your Luby and that old fogey who is still struggling at death's door. Or else, I won't need the Lord of the ancient city to kill you. I'll annihilate you." As Bai Hao spoke, his gaze turned wild. Long Fei did not say a word. Not anger. He was speechless. Who the F***CK are you? Is there something wrong with your head? Long Fei did not understand much about Bai Hao. However, Li Yuanba had already sent a sound transmission to him, saying that he was the one who saved Yu Ro. Originally, Long Fei was still a little thankful towards him, but now it had vanished. This was a F***king love rival. A love rival from who knows where. He even felt good about showing off his presence here. Can you figure out whether or not you can locate yourself here? Shut up, Sister Ro. What does my woman have to do with you? Long Fei said as he took a step forward. He pulled her into his embrace. Her body trembled, but she didn't refuse. Brat, you're courting death. Bai Hao's eyes became cold as he coldly said. Even the people around him couldn't watch it any longer. Brat, you don't have to know what's good for you. If it were not for my young master, your subordinates would all be dead. Why do you think the ancient city's lord hasn't acted yet? It's because of my young master. Otherwise, you would already be a dead man. Behind Bai Hao, a subordinate said. His eyes were sinister and murderous. At this moment, the expression on Gu Xingdao's face changed. It looks like you don't have any relationship with the Yin godchild. In that case, there's no need for you to exist at all. Gu Xingdao said coldly. Instantly, Gu Xingdao released his aura. His purple robe also gradually changed into a red one. Peak of Xiantian, full circle realm. He was even more ruthless than when he met the Zhao family's ancestor. City Lord, forget it. This time, just give me some face. Kid, didn't you say that Yu Ro is your woman? Since that's the case, do you dare to have a fight with me? As long as you win, in the future, I will withdraw. I will absolutely not take even half a step closer to Yu Ro. Bai Hao said. Long Fei was startled, but quickly smiled. Is there something wrong with your head? Yu Ro is my woman. Why should I bet with you? Besides, I never had the habit of gambling with my own woman. Besides, since you're betting, you're not even willing to bet. Do you still want me to gamble with you? Long Fei sneered. All right, then tell me what you want to bet. I have never been afraid of it before. As long as you say it out loud, this young master will accept it. Bai Hao said with a nonchalant expression, as if he had complete confidence in his own abilities. So confident? Good. Then let's bet our lives. No matter what you want to bet, as long as I lose, I'll give you my life. Long Fei's eyes turned cold as he said indifferently. The atmosphere was cold and murderous. The atmosphere was cold and murderous. Whether it was Long Fei or Bai Hao, both of them had already developed killing intent in their hearts. All right, you're the one who said that, Bai Hao said as he gnashed his teeth. Of course, the words of I, Long Fei, do not count yet. However, if you lose, I don't want a dog life. Just kowtow obediently and apologize. Long Fei said, was completely uninterested in killing Bai Hao. Although his cultivation base wasn't weak, he was already at the peak of perfection. However, he wasn't even a wild boss, so there was no need to waste time. However, with how frivolous and gentle Bai Hao was, as a man, he absolutely couldn't tolerate him. Long Fei. Yuro had a worried look on her face. Boss, this kid's background isn't simple. Look at how the ancient dogs of Tianyuan City treat him so respectfully. I'm afraid this kid has some tricks up his sleeve. Li Yuanba said. Long Fei nodded. Don't worry, you still don't know me. From the gods' martial continent to now, we have fought and killed crazily. Since when did we cower? Long Fei said. Now that he had met Li Yuanba once again, the memories in Long Fei's heart had been stirred, and he was extremely excited. He also wanted to ask what Li Yuanba had experienced in the past few years, but the situation now was a little unfavorable for her. Right? Men should do it, we can't submit. Boss, go ahead. I will guard my sister-in-law here. No one can touch her. I really look forward to the way this pretentious person kneels down and kowtows. Li Yuanba laughed openly. However, just as he finished speaking, the zither behind Gu Xingdao started laughing out loud. Haha, two idiots. You don't even know his identity, right? One of the most mysterious inheritances of the primal chaos continent. You actually say that you can win? If you win, then I'll chop off your head and kick it like a ball. As the zither laughed, even Gu Xingdao's eyes slightly narrowed. Long Fei remained calm and collected. Li Yuanba scoffed. With a simple and honest appearance, he showed an expression that said, You're an idiot, making Gu Qin burn with anger. He clearly knew in his heart that Long Fei was facing against a god's tribe, but an Emperor Xian. No matter how powerful the existence of the primal chaos land was, could it be stronger than the Emperor Xian? Even an existence like the Emperor Xian did not put him in his heart. So how could he care about the legacy of the primal chaos? However, Li Yuanba did not say these words out loud. Long Fei looked at the zither, and killing intent arose in his eyes. I'll remember what you said. Long Fei said word by word. Every word was filled with killing intent. Instantly, the zither's face went pale and its mind shook. However, when he saw Bai Hao and Gu Xingdao, he regained his confidence. So what if I remember? I am waiting for the moment you beg for mercy in front of Master Bai. Gu Qin said forcefully. Humph. Long Fei coldly snorted, looked towards Bai Hao, and said, Speak. What do you want to compete in? It's simple. I have a secret world in my hands, so let's compete by being able to hunt more living creatures. Bai Hao confidently said with confidence. Secret world. Long Fei was startled, but immediately became excited. This was the beginning of a dungeon. For a moment, Long Fei's heart was moved. Instance dungeons represented experience. To Long Fei, there was nothing more satisfying than leveling up. For a time, all the displeasure vanished. All right, when do we start? Long Fei was getting impatient. Are you in such a hurry to die? Since that's the case, then come with me. Bai Hao faintly said. Long Fei did not hesitate at all, as he was not worried that Bai Hao would have any tricks up his sleeve. Boss, don't worry. Boss, just relax. I have my own nest outside the Tianyuan City. Li Yuanba said with a helpless look on his face. Seeing Li Yuanba's expression, Long Fei's heart froze. He felt a little uncomfortable. He knew about Li Yuanba's experience in the universal realm, so he patted Li Yuanba's shoulders and said, "Don't worry. When I return, I will definitely help you think of a way." "All right, I trust your boss." Li Yuanba nodded heavily. Following that, Long Fei immediately summoned his god's pavilion. With a flash, he entered the god's pavilion. The expression in Gu Xing Dao and Bai Hao's eyes changed as a sense of desire and caution flashed through them. It was obvious that they were extremely curious about Long Fei's methods. Li Yuanba was also preparing to leave with Yuro. "Long Fei, you must be careful," Yuro said worriedly. "Don't worry, I didn't eat you yet. I can't bear to let something happen to me." Long Fei laughed. Yuro's face flushed red. Bai Hao gritted his teeth in anger and clenched his fists tightly. "Cut the crap. Follow me if you have the guts. As for Sister Ro, you don't have to worry. I believe that I won't do anything unwise in the ancient city, right?" Bai Hao coldly said. Gu Xingdao let out a cold snort before turning around and leaving with the zither. Instantly, the hatred in Bai Hao's eyes intensified. Looking at the deep feelings between Long Fei and Yuro, he felt indignant in his heart. He wanted to show off his superiority to let Long Fei know the difference between the two of them. However, he didn't expect Gu Xingdao to directly leave without giving him any face. "Humph, just you wait. Wait until this daddy obtains the qualification battles and becomes the god of boundary. Then I will have you all become the lowliest dogs," Bai Hao ruthlessly said in his heart. Then, he took the first step and soared into the sky. Ha ha ha! What kind of face slapping was this? This is F***king jumping into the latrine. You think you're shitting, yes. Li Yuanba laughed out loud. Humph. Generally speaking, existences like this wouldn't survive past 2 episodes in a TV show. "Wait, I'll go and take care of him," Long Fei said. Taking the chance that Yuro wasn't paying attention, a pair of hands swept past her chest. Yuro's face was red, and she did not speak, while Long Fei's figure also disappeared amidst an obscene smile. "Long Fei, you must be careful," Yuro silently said as she watched Long Fei's figure disappear into the distance. "Don't worry, sister-in-law. It was impossible for him to stop the boss with just him. If there is a miracle in the world, then my boss is the founder of a miracle. His existence is precisely for breaking the cage and creating a miracle," Li Yuanba said firmly. Within the clouds, Long Fei chased closely after Bai Hao without any hesitation. Bai Hao's speed was continuously increasing, but Long Fei still maintained the same distance between them. Bai Hao was fast, and Long Fei was fast. In the end, Bai Hao simply stopped and waited for Long Fei. "What's wrong? Isn't it about to accelerate?" Long Fei said with a playful expression. Along the way, every change in Bai Hao's speed could not escape Long Fei's eyes. But he was too naive. Long Fei's holy source value could be replenished. There was always a need to worry. "Humph, Long Fei is it? Don't be arrogant. Wait until you get into my secret world. Then you will know what is called despair." Bai Hao suppressed the rage in his eyes as he spoke. "All right, but don't disappoint me with your secret world. Don't be careless. I played the entire secret world for you." Long Fei did not budge an inch as he spoke indifferently. As he was speaking, Long Fei's heart was suddenly moved. The scene in front of his eyes suddenly changed as numerous jade buildings suddenly appeared. The 3 big words on the doorstep instantly attracted Long Fei's attention, causing him to feel a certain kind of energy in his body suddenly become irritable. The power of the Sky Spill? Sky Spill World. Long Fei's heart rate sped up to the point that he couldn't wait to enter. Above the dome, several figures suddenly appeared. Above the dome, several figures suddenly appeared. The aura emitted from every single one of them was extremely strange. When Long Fei just entered the door, he could not help but be surprised. This place was simply too strange. The interior of the door was like a new world. Not only was it filled with spiritual energy, it also possessed a special kind of power that caused the power in his body to jump continuously. It wanted to break through Long Fei's suppression several times. "Yoshin, I never thought that there would be so many hidden forces in this chaotic world. It said that the ocean meridian has already disappeared, and even Long Quang thought so. I never thought that the other party would open up another world in the void of primal chaos. Awesome, Long Fei thought, and then immediately suppressed the sky spill power in his body. This was because more and more figures had already appeared. Every single one of them was looking at him with unfriendly gazes. Young master, what's going on? Why did you come back alone? Where's my clan's holy maiden? Yes, young lord. Also, why did you bring an outsider back? Could it be that our deduction is wrong? The holy maiden of my clan is a man? Inharmonious voices came out one after another, surrounding Long Fei, wishing that he could be dissected. There's no need to guess. I found Sister Ro. As for him, he's just a reckless ant. As Bai Hao spoke, he spoke of everything that had happened in the Tianyun city. Nonsense, it's simply nonsense. Can any kind of cat or dog enter my clan? That's right, young lord. To deal with such a person, we can just directly use an array to suppress him. There's no need to waste so much time. How about this? This old man will immediately kill this trash and then bring the holy maiden back. Tell her that he is already dead in Secret World. In front of Bai Hao, those people who had walked out of the sky-reaching realm were all looking at Long Fei with unfriendly looks. It seemed that if Long Fei stepped into the sky-spill realm, it would be a kind of humiliation. As for Bai Hao, there was a trace of malice on his face. Am I the young master, or are you the young masters? Since when is it your turn to be the overseer of this sky-spill world? Bai Hao coldly asked. Instantly, all sound vanished. However, Long Fei was somewhat hesitant in his heart. Was Bai Hao's 3 views so righteous? You want to have a fair and square match with me? One must know that they were all his people now that they had arrived here. Even if he were to do anything, it was likely that no one would be able to say anything. No, that's not right. Bai Hao is not a good person. But what is he up to? Long Fei guessed. At this moment, Bai Hao's voice appeared. Long Fei, don't worry, since I said that I want to have a fair battle with you, I will definitely not use some methods to kill you. However, there's one thing I have to remind you of. If my clan's secret world wants to open it, it will need too much effort, so when the time comes, my clan's disciples will also enter. If you're worried, you can also get help. As Bai Hao spoke, he looked at Long Fei with a playful expression. No worries, you can enter however much you want. Long Fei said indifferently. With more people and less people, there was no difference at all to Long Fei. In any case, if the other party was really playing dirty, Long Fei didn't mind turning all of them into his own experience. I hope you will still have the courage to say this tomorrow. Men, arrange a room for him. Bai Hao instructed. Then, a little friend of the Yenshu gods, tribe unwillingly walked up to him. Let's go. After saying that, the other party walked forward. Long Fei did not speak further and followed the other party. Very quickly, under the arrangement of the other party, Long Fei entered a small hut at the side. You just stay here for the night, the Yin God tribe disciple said coldly. Long Fei was startled, but soon after, anger arose in his heart. This place can accommodate people. Long Fei frowned, a trace of unhappiness appearing in his heart. This was simply a junk room. It was fine if there wasn't anything. Even the roof was open, and one could see the stars in the sky just by looking up. Hey, why don't you take a piss and see your status? It's already good enough that I'm living here for you. If you can't live here, then stay out the night. The Yenshu God tribe disciple said disdainfully and left arrogantly. I'll endure. Long Fei groaned, suppressing his anger. When your young lord kneels in front of me and begs for mercy, I'll see what face you have. Long Fei said fiercely in his heart, following which, with a flick of his palm, a strong gust of wind swept across an area. He immediately sat down cross-legged and started his teasing. At this time, in the Tianyun city's city lord's mansion, Gu Qi kneeled in front of Gu Xingdao with a wronged expression. Father, I refuse to accept this. You are the Tianyun city's city lord, and that wild brat won't die. How will outsiders view you? In the future, where will the city lord's mansion line up to? And that Bai Hao. He doesn't even put you in his eyes. He deserves to die as well. Gu Qin said again and again. His eyes were filled with hatred. He hated Bai Hao and hated Long Fei even more. The moment the two of them appeared, he felt that all his years of life had been wasted. All the sense of superiority had been stepped on heavily. Shut up. How can I have a useless son like you? How could you blame others if you failed? Tomorrow, I will get you to send me to your Sky Empire and have your aunt arrange for you to enter the Imperial Palace. As for them, you can be at ease. So what if they were the Yintian race? I have sent word to the Celestial Emperor. The power of the sky spill. This was something that the Heavenly Emperor would be very interested in. At that time, regardless of whether it's the Yoshin clan or that boy, they will pay the price for everything they've done today. Gu Xingdao narrowed his eyes and said with a cold voice, "Ha ha, Father's skills are indeed more brilliant. All right, there's also that woman. Father doesn't forget. She was also an array master, and Bai Hao's appearance seemed to have something to do with him. Father, when the time comes, we'll be father and son." The zither had a lustful expression. Ha ha ha. Gu Xingdao also let out a loud laugh. The entire room was filled with the lustful laughter of the two. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, an entire night had passed. Very early in the morning, Long Fei was notified by his disciple yesterday that he was about to enter Secret World. Under the guidance of that person, Long Fei followed them to an empty area in the Sky Spill realm. "Long Fei, are you ready?" Bai Hao spoke, his eyes filled with uncontrollable excitement. A mere secret world, I don't even put him in my eyes. On the other hand, your Yinwu God tribe is really awesome, directly entering over 10,000 disciples? Long Fei said in disdain, his eyes filled with ridicule. However, in his heart, he was already laughing out loud. Does it have to be so powerful? Tens of thousands of disciples. A single disciple has tens of thousands of experience. That's already over 100 million experience. Long Fei was excited. Long Fei was excited, especially these disciples of the Yin God's tribe. Their eyes were filled with hatred. Long Fei already knew that this so-called life wager was not that simple. Best to pray that you have no heart. Otherwise, I don't mind having a few more ghosts under my command. Long Fei pondered. Bai Hao's figure had long since appeared in front of a huge statue in the empty plaza. "Long Fei, are you ready?" Bai Hao's voice carried a trace of arrogance, as if he was determined to eat Long Fei alive. Long Fei chuckled and curled the corner of his mouth. "What? You're so impatient to kowtow to me and admit your mistake?" Long Fei said playfully. In an instant, rays of cold light shot out from the eyes of the man from God's tribe. "Brat, you're so arrogant. Who gave you the right to act so arrogantly in our Yin God's tribe? If it wasn't for young master wanting to completely crush you, there simply isn't a need for open secret realm. You are already a dead person." A series of furious roars rang out. The members of the Yin God's tribe all had killing intent on their faces as they glared at Long Fei. Long Fei was not moved. With his current strength, there was no need to be afraid. Forget about the entire Yin God's tribe. The strongest cultivator was only at the 9th level of the super perfection. Even if there really was a peak powerhouse like the ancient Tao, Long Fei was not afraid at all. I hope you still have the courage to be so arrogant in the secret world. Since you've made your preparations, elders, let's begin. Bai Hao said indifferently. Long Fei curled his lips, his mind calm. He also had some anticipation for the secret world. I hope you won't disappoint me, Long Fei thought. After which, Bai Hao's voice sounded out. The few elders of the Yinwu God's tribe were like sacrifices as they sat crossed-legged in front of the sculpture, and their hands began to surge with power. So. Lines of patterns containing mysterious powers were carved out. Long Fei's eyes moved. The sky spill power inside his body started to rage once again, as if it was transmitting an idea to Long Fei. Devouring desire of extreme desire. It was as if he wanted nothing more than to break free of Long Fei's body and swallow these imprints. Damn, is it really that crazy? Is it possible for me to level up? Long Fei thought. This strand of heaven's divination power was the reward of the system. He hadn't used it ever since he saved her. He didn't expect it to happen again and again. However, Long Fei naturally knew that now was not the time to attack. The secret world was the key. Following that, Long Fei had no choice but to suppress the power of the sky spill spell. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. At this moment, a loud explosion resounded. The engravings on the hand of the Yin presbyter of God's tribe formed a door in the air, and this door stood right above the sculpture. Long Fei, the door to the secret world has been opened. There is a shrine in the deepest part of secret world. Whoever reaches it first will be the victor. As Bai Hao spoke, his eyes turned cold, and he jumped through the door. Shwa shwa shwa. Tens of thousands of Yin descendant of God's tribe followed closely behind, jumping in one after another. Long Fei did not hesitate and leaped up, rushing straight towards the big gate. However, just as his body neared the door, a change occurred. The door that was initially open but was now closed. Long Fei was stunned for a moment, and then immediately froze on the spot. "This is Bai Hao's intention," Long Fei said coldly. In that moment, Long Fei felt a ruthless feeling growing in his heart. Such a gamble? Was he joking? Before he could even enter the secret world, the door was about to close. Little brat, do you think that our power is worthless? Every single strand of power is our power of life. We can open it for our clan's disciples, so what are you? That's right. If you have the ability, why don't you enter by yourself? It's your own business if you can't get in. If you can't get in, you can just leave your dog life. The Yinshu God's tribe elder said with a face full of schadenfreude. Long Fei's eyes were ice cold, and his pupils emitted killing intent. Just as the killing intent in Long Fei's heart was about to spread, the expression of the elders of the Yin God's tribe changed. At this moment, the entire sculpture started to tremble. Although it was light, it was visible to the naked eye. The statue of the great emperor was moving? How is this possible? Could it be that someone is touching the boundary of my sky spill world? No, someone is deducing something and is looking for my sky spill world. It seems like this day will come after all. They must have caught the open secret realm. Quickly, close the gates so they can't figure out anymore. The Yin God's tribe elder said in panic, and when Long Fei heard it, his gaze also fixed onto the sculpture. Emperor statue, Emperor Yin Tian. Without any reason, Long Fei's heart moved. One had to know that his hands were currently filled with imprints of longevity and decay. These two powers were the Emperor's most primal energies. Now that there was this great Emperor Yin Tian, Long Fei naturally did not want to let him off. Suddenly, a wave of pressure flashed past Long Fei's heart. Just as he was staring at the statue of the Emperor, he realized that the eyes of the sculpture had opened. Instantly, an indescribable impact swept forth, directly striking Long Fei's soul. Long Fei simply could not reject it. He simply did not have enough time to react, and the power directly rushed into his sea of consciousness. Immediately after, a chaotic world appeared in Long Fei's sea of consciousness. It was an incomparably vast world, and the aura of primal chaos was so dense that it filled the entire world. It was as if the heavens and the earth were stuck together. Is this the real ancient world? Long Fei's heart trembled. This kind of scene was even more shocking than when he saw the original owner of the Zhenshilong sword guarding a region and blocking the alien powerhouse. Immediately after, a figure appeared in this world. This figure was extremely blurry, and its entire body was enveloped in a mysterious power. One couldn't even see its appearance. Emperor Yin Tian, Long Fei called out, and this figure was exactly the same as the statues he had seen before. Long Fei's heart tensed up. He had a feeling. Perhaps he would be able to witness a secret of unparalleled ancient times. With that thought, Long Fei calmed his heart and continued to read. However, during this period of time, he didn't even know that the heaven's birth within his body had broken through the suppression and entered the statue of Emperor Yin Tian. He did not know, but the clan elders of the Yinshu God's tribe were able to see it clearly. This power, this is the power of the great emperor. I have seen it before in the inheritance. This brat is indeed not simple. No wonder the young master said that he wanted him to enter the secret world. If that's the case, maybe the young master really will succeed in unlocking the ancient treasure trove. Ha! At that time, what Emperor Xian or Lord of Chaos, who can stop my clan? The eyes of the elders outside were full of light. Looking at Long Fei, he too was filled with anticipation. Oh no, the door is about to close. Suddenly, one of the Yin presbyter of God's tribe spoke. However, as soon as the words left his mouth, an even more shocking scene occurred. The statue of the great emperor in front of him actually lifted up his right hand. With a light tap, the door opened. The statue that had been silent for 10,000 years immediately took action, blasting open the secret world's door. The statue that had been silent for 10,000 years immediately took action, blasting open the secret world's door. This scene caused the Yin God's tribe elder to almost go crazy. In their hearts, Emperor Yin Tian was the ruler of time. He was their faith. Great Emperor, the will of the Emperor is still there. He is protecting my race. The two great elders of the Yin God's tribe cried as they looked devoutly at the statue, and then they kneeled on the ground. However, they naturally did not know that all of this was because of Long Fei's power of sky spill. At this time, Long Fei was still motionless. His soul was still immersed within the endless ancient world. This is the secret world that is opening the Yin Shu God's tribe. Long Fei became excited. As time went on, he began to see more and more about inventions. That was because the only reason Emperor Yin Tian had been able to become the emperor was because he had obtained a power after dispersing the primal chaos. Heaven's birth. Then, Emperor Yin Tian used this power to create the heaven-seizing sex first meridian. He also opened up the heaven-reaching realm, as well as a secret world. What followed was the arrangement of the entire secret world. Yin Tian Ranch, Netherworld, All Shrine Palace, 3 borderless regions. The more Long Fei saw, the more shocked he was. Towards the methods of the great Emperor Yin Tian, he was also filled with admiration. At this time, all of the images suddenly shattered, and Long Fei's mind returned to normal. At the same time, that strand of sky spill power also returned back into Long Fei's body from a sculpture. What courage! He actually wants to give birth to a new world. Unfortunately, I failed in the end. Long Fei thought for the great Emperor Yin Tian. But very quickly, Long Fei was relieved. These secrets of ancient times were too distant, so even if he understood it, it would be useless. On the contrary, his heart was filled with excitement. Unparalleled excitement. The power of sky spill. Doesn't this mean that I already have the foundation of the sky-reaching clan? Long Fei thought in his heart and almost laughed out loud. Awesome. It felt so good that he didn't want it all. Right now, he had the sky spill power, so his power was already one level higher than the sky spill God's tribe. No, it should be said that one was a master and the other was a few hundred generations of profound grandsons. Regardless of whether it was by Hao or the Yin descendant of God's tribe, in their eyes, the only power they possessed was the power of the sky spill, the power of the sky spill. In addition, the more he passed on, the more his strength would change. The first phase of the heaven and earth was a power that had existed for a long time. After Yin Tian was the power of creation. It was easy to guess who was stronger and who was weaker with just his legs. Haha, by how, oh by how, I never would have thought that you would give me such a great opportunity. I wonder what kind of expression I'll have when you come to the end, and I'm already waiting for you in the palace. Long Fei laughed crazily in his heart, and then he looked towards the door. This was his battlefield. Having overturned 3 territories had already become his goal. As for the clan elders of the Nan God's tribe, Long Fei did not care about them at all. Whiz! Long Fei's feet exerted force, and in a single step he directly entered the door. As Long Fei's figure disappeared, the door closed instantly and vanished into the air, as if it had never appeared before. I went in hot. This little brat is truly mysterious. But in the end, it was all in vain. The young master was already prepared to regroup. In the secret world, the young master has the cane left behind by the emperor, so he is definitely unrivaled. Right. If we really succeed this time, our clan will immediately surge in power and become the ruler of the Bedlam lands. At that time, the young master will go and fight for the qualifications to become the god of boundary, or even become its true ruler. Ha ha ha! Inside the secret world, the moment Long Fei entered it, he felt the heavens' birth power in his body and cheered in excitement. It was as if the heavens and the earth existed because of him. In his eyes, everything was a feast for the eyes. Don't be anxious. We'll go straight to the Hall of the Gods. To you, the existence here is minuscule. Only by merging with another power will you be able to transform. Long Fei calmed the restless sky spill power and continued to move forward. He had already recognized that this area was none other than the Yin Tian Ranch. The ranch. It was only a form of address. Emperor Yan's true goal was to create a continent. This Yin Tian Ranch was only in Zhou form. What he wanted was to create the world. The gods were the masters, while the common people were animals. The gods feed the common people on behalf of the heavens. As for the gods, needless to say, they were the people from the Nan Tian God's tribe. Thus, the so-called secret world, from a certain point of view, was also a real world. However, all living creatures were born from the power of the Heavenly Dipper. I wonder what happened in the past. If Great Emperor Yin Tian was really able to create this secret world into a new world, I wonder what happened then. Long Fei finally whispered to himself. Suddenly, a shadow appeared in the distance. Haha, he's here. He's here. Young Master's technique is indeed useful. As long as we are within 100 miles, we can sense him. The young lord said that there's no need to kill him. Just capture him alive. A few Yin God's tribe disciples descended from the distance, their faces filled with madness. Long Fei's eyes slightly narrowed. He originally wanted to head straight for his final destination, but he didn't expect that by how really had other arrangements. He can sense my distance. So, I have already become your prey? Long Fei asked coldly. Hearing this, a few of the disciples of the laughed out loud. You're right. You still know your own limits. You are our prey, but we were lucky enough to find you first. Brat, are you going to surrender, or do you want us to attack you? A few of the Yin God's tribe's disciples laughed and said, extremely proud of themselves. This was especially true for the disciple in the lead. He seemed to be eager to attack. Long Fei was startled, but quickly smiled. This disciple was none other than the person who arranged a room for him yesterday. Unexpectedly, you also came in. It seems that you really think you have a long life. Long Fei said with a relaxed and casual expression. Brat, I think you're an idiot, right? You are merely at the third stage of the ancient realm. How dare you act so haughtily in front of us? Moreover, we are currently in my clan's secret world. Since we have the power of the heavens, killing you will not be an easy task. As the disciple spoke, his eyes turned cold as he brazenly attacked. A ray of sky evolution power immediately turned into a rope that was tied up, disappearing without a shadow or form, ethereal, and descended towards Long Fei. Power of the sky? What the hell? Since you want to die, treat me as your prey. But from now on, I will become the hunter of this secret world, and you are all my prey. From this moment onwards, Long Fei's heart of killing had already erupted. Prey? Sorry, it doesn't exist. Moreover, all of this scene in the Sky Spill secret world was already in Long Fei's mind, so Long Fei had nothing to worry about. As for the bet, Long Fei was confident that he could make by how regret his words. Since you want to play, then I'll play with you. Prey? Haha, I didn't intend on letting you guys off either. Long Fei said, and his gaze paused. Immediately, a dark yellow power appeared on his palm. Yellow and orange rays of light, like chaos, constantly changing. Now, who do you think is the prey? Long Fei scanned the place coldly. In that instant, the power in Long Fei's hands. He was like a lofty king. The moment it appeared, the aura of the entire Yin Tian ranch began to change. It was just like how nature feared natural disasters. The wind began to die down. The stars became dull. Of course, the stars in the secret world were also evolved from the power of the rising heaven. Instantly, the entire world changed. It was only because of the heaven's divination power that appeared in Long Fei's hand. A strand of source energy that could open up this space. No, that's impossible. Your power. My power has been devoured. No, return my strength. I'll fight it out with you. The disciples of the Yoshin family clan all had miserable looks on their faces as they panicked. After Long Fei took action, their powers of the sky evolution were uncontrollable, as if their subjects had met their sovereign. They instantly dimmed and were completely silent within their bodies, unable to be summoned back. Come on, let's go all out. It's not that I'm looking down on you. Right now, you don't even have the courage to fight with your lives. Sometimes, if you don't shout loudly, you can act awesome. Otherwise, donkeys would have ruled the world long ago. Long Fei sneered, showing no mercy at all. They had brought this upon themselves. The power of Sky Spill, it's all up to you now. You could just swallow it. With that said, Long Fei tapped his hand. The power of Sky Spill surged out and instantly turned into a heaven-devouring mouth. Inhalation. It was like a whale devouring the sea, immediately devouring the energy remaining in the body of the descendant of God's tribe. He set up some of the weaker energy of the Sky Spill spell formation to swallow and release. Fuck, is he that human? Yet you still chose to eat it? As Long Fei looked at the increasingly strong power of Sky Spill, he cursed in his heart. Ding, 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 ding. In an instant, the system's voice appeared. These descendant of God's tribe, their powers were swallowed up and their entire life force consumed, immediately dying. His experience began to increase rapidly. Hundreds abroad and close to 10 million experience. It had to be known that this was only a single wave. Ding! Sky Spill technique leveled up, current level 3. At this time, as the power of Sky Spill entered his body, Long Fei's Sky Spill technique leveled up once again. For a moment, it was as if Long Fei controlled the entire Sky Spill secret world, as if he was a god. He looked up into heaven and earth, and then waved his hand to drive the mountains and seas away. Everything seemed to be related to him in some mysterious way. In that direction is the center of the Yin Tian ranch. Is there a creature that Emperor Yin Tian gave birth to? That direction is the netherworld, a Dumbra fountain. Over there are the temples. With just a glance, Long Fei's heart became hazy. Even though this Sky Spill secret world was tens of millions of miles wide and incomparably vast. However, Long Fei was still able to conclude that his guess was not wrong. Ha ha, awesome. Next is the hunting time. Think of me as your prey. I'll let you all know what is called despair. The excitement in Long Fei's heart was like a stinging meal. He was unable to stop at all. After killing them, not only would his heaven evolution art level up, but he would also gain experience and experience. This was simply exhilarating. Furthermore, they wanted to kill him in the first place, so Long Fei naturally did not mind. People don't offend me. I'm not a prisoner. If anyone offends me, cut the grass at its roots. 3 days later, Long Fei stood at his original spot waiting for the second wave of God's tribe cultivators to arrive. This batch had nearly 1,000 people. It was a direct attack. It had increased by 30 million experience points. 5 days later, Long Fei controlled the Sky Evolution art and took the initiative to search, once again ambushing the disciples of the God's tribe. His experience had increased by 60 million. Too little, too little. Several thousand people gave me a total of 100 million experience points. Long Fei looked at the long EXP bar and became a little speechless. He hadn't even been able to level up the Sky Spill technique. It seemed that the strength of these disciples was too low. They didn't even have the power of heaven's birth to swallow. At this time, Long Fei was in the entire Sky Spill prairie. Looks like I'll have to play a big game. Long Fei thought as he looked at the boundless Yin Tian ranch. That's right. Long Fei had already changed his mind. The experience gained from killing the Yin God tribe was still too little, but to Long Fei, it was like a gap in their teeth. Therefore, Long Fei's target was the life forms at the Heaven-Devouring Ranch. These were the less successful creatures that Emperor Yin Tian had used the power of the Sky Spill art. This was within Long Fei's calculations. These creatures were not real people, so Long Fei did not feel the slightest bit burdened. After a while, Long Fei arrived at a large valley. This is the place. The corners of Long Fei's mouth curled up as he revealed a cold smile. The valley was like a cage. It was located in the center of the entire Yinny ranch. Long Fei looked at the valley in front of him and felt his heart tremble. It's a good thing that Emperor Yin Tian failed that year. Otherwise, this group of people who are neither human nor ghost would have long since escaped from this world. Long Fei looked at the people in the valley. All of them were just like wild beasts, those who didn't even have the slightest bit of intelligence. Zhang Xian lamented. Inexplicably, a strange thought came to Long Fei's mind. That was the ancient world he resided in. This was an unknown place in the primal chaos. Could the divine space be a pasture created by a super powerhouse? Was he just a creature that someone else raised? When this thought came out, Long Fei's heart felt a chill. But very quickly, it was forcefully suppressed by Long Fei. No matter what, Laozi's road will never stop. Long Fei's voice shook, wiping away the negative emotions in his heart, and turned to look at the valley. Tens of millions of densely packed, nameless existences appeared in front of Long Fei's eyes. Aya, what the heck? This is equivalent to an instance dungeon clearing EXP. It's a pity that I don't have the double experience card. Otherwise, it would feel great. Long Fei did not say a word, holding the Zhou Tian killing weapon in his hand. He immediately charged forward. The levels of these existences were not high, but they were definitely not weak. Each one of them was at the level of an ancient supreme existence. Even a most ordinary one had dozens of experience points. There were hundreds of them. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying a low-level Yin Tian warrior. You have obtained 13 experience points. Holy Source points, 0. Striking value, 1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying advanced Yin Tian Jun. You have received 162 experience. Holy Source points, 10. Striking value, 1. Ding! Ding ding. Ding ding. Ding ding. The moment Long Fei entered, all the powerful weapons were harvested frantically. In just a moment, he had finished condensing his slaughter domain. From the moment he made his move, the system's notification had never stopped. In the end, they directly connected together. Slaughter domain release. Long Fei's eyes had already been baptized by the killing intent. His pupils were red with blood. The killing intent had already erupted out of him. Emperor Yin Tian, what a ruthless move. The more Long Fei killed, the more shocked he was. In the beginning, although these creatures were created by great Emperor Yin Tian, they had been living in the Sky Spill Valley for so many years. He had long since developed his own consciousness. Moreover, these people acted as if they were used to it the moment he made his move, quietly waiting to be reaped. There was no resistance, no struggle. Looks like by how has already been here. They just treat this place like a slaughterhouse. Long Fei stopped what he was doing, looked at the expressions of the beasts, and was speechless. The Yin Tian Ranch is a land of evil. Emperor Yin Tian's failure was his own fault. The gods are high above him. Pastoral care for the common people. Who gave him the qualifications? Long Fei thought about how he felt helpless against these creatures. Once upon a time, he was the same, unable to control his own life. If it wasn't for his bloody resistance, he wouldn't have made it to this step. Whoosh! Long Fei took a deep breath, and the messy thoughts in his mind had already disappeared. Your stupidity is the least valuable. Since I have already developed intelligence, and am still willing to be a beast when I am muddle-headed and be slaughtered by others, it will be a waste for me to be alive. In that case, I'll send you off. Kill. Long Fei's eyes were cold and wanton. Under the effects of the slaughter domain, all the killing machines cut horizontally, instantly killing a large number of people. Originally, Long Fei massacred the Yin Tian ranch, all for the sake of gaining experience and leveling up. So now it was time to free them. This kind of animal would become the source of power for the humans in the God's tribe. It would be better to die here. Shwa shwa shwa. The light of the saber was wanton, and the crimson rays of light extended across the entire valley in the blink of an eye. Even in the void, the endless space was suffused with the color of blood. Tens of thousands of kilometers away, Bai Hao was at the edge of Yin Tian Ranch, opening up a path to the palace. What's going on? What happened at the derivative pasture? Bai Hao was slightly hesitant. Young master, could it be that brat caused a ruckus at the derivative pasture? After all, he is not from our Sky Spill God's tribe, so the only way out is to kill his way through the Sky Spill Prairie. Could he have died inside? Beside Bai Hao, a disciple of the Yin God tribe spoke up. Don't worry, I have already divided the 20,000 disciples. As long as they find Long Fei's figure, they will immediately take him away. As Bai Hao spoke, he gave a disdainful smile. If you fight me, I will let you know that you were just a joke. After which, Bai Hao continued walking. At this time, Long Fei was still immersed in the midst of battle. The great killing machine swept one wave after another. However, there were too many living creatures in Yin Tian grassland. It was as if they weren't afraid of death at all. He couldn't stop it all. Even Long Fei was already exhausted. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying Advanced Yin Tian Jun. You have obtained 238 experience, 10 holy source points, and 1 striking value. Ding! Ding ding! Endless slaughter. Endless attacks. The system's announcement immediately became a symphony. 3 billion experience. This really is an experience dungeon. Long Fei said excitedly. There's only one thing that made him excited at the current stage, and that was leveling up, continuously upgrading. This massacre gave him nearly 3 billion experience. This also meant that he had killed nearly 200 million monsters. Awesome. Originally, Long Fei was still a little tired, but after seeing his experience bar increase by half visible to the naked eye, Long Fei once again unleashed his fighting spirit. Fight for leveling up. Fight for salvation. Continue killing. This level, your father will definitely level up today. Long Fei's blade was heavy. Initiating slaughter domain, endless slaughter mode, begin. Shwa shwa shwa. Rumble rumble rumble. Blade light flashed, and explosions rang out. One voice after another was annihilated by this savage power. Long Fei was not idle either. He used the power of Sky Spill once again. In a split second, Long Fei seemed to have become the leader of the Yin Tian Ranch, as all of the Yin Huang life forms started to prostrate themselves on the ground. It was as though he was looking forward to the reward. TSK, TSK, I forgot about that. If I had used the Heavenly Dipper power earlier, I wouldn't have needed so much effort. Long Fei was speechless. He already knew that the power of the heavens' divination could restrain all of this. The reason he did not use it was because he was afraid that the disciples of the Yin God tribe would not come again. But now, before leveling up, everything was just a small matter. Right at this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded. The moment when the heaven's birth was suppressed by the heaven's divination. Ding! Congratulations, player, on triggering mission, collapsing the Heavenly King's secret world, saving the heavenly lives. Quest level S, time of mission, 3 days, task reward, 100 million experience, the key to the Sky Spill world. Mission penalty, losing 3 levels. Hearing that, Long Fei's eyes flashed. The experience reward was secondary. The most important thing was the Sky Spill secret key. Right now, he already had the secret key to the Eternal Emperor's tomb and the heaven-decimating palace in his hands. Now, it will be the third one. It would seem that these 13 ancient emperors still possess a great secret. If we can collect all 13 keys, I wonder what kind of monstrous secret explosion would occur. Long Fei thought. Do it. Killing people is saving them. Since Emperor Yin Tian created their lives, I will use the power of the sky spill to destroy them. You shouldn't have appeared. Destroying you would be equivalent to redemption. Long Fei thought as he released the sky spill power from his hands. The third level of the heavenly evolution technique was directly drawn in mid-air. In next to no time, the word annihilation appeared in mid-air. As for those sky spill creatures, they were like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Under the effects of the power of the sky spill, they didn't react at all. They were numb and used to it. Long Fei sighed in his heart. For them, this result could be considered redemption. Annihilate. Swish. The Heaven Evolution Arts Annihilation Rune pattern contained an endless amount of destructive energy. All of a sudden, something crashed down from the sky. It directly destroyed all of these creatures on the heavenly shifting pasture. In an instant, the entire Yinny ranch had become a living hell. Under the power of one of Long Fei's sky evolution arts, the tens of thousands of living beings were instantly annihilated. Long Fei's expression was cold as he watched all the living creatures dissipate under the power of the sky spill art. Not a single ripple could be seen. He was waiting. Hundreds of millions of creatures had died in this attack. This amount of experience was enough for him to level up. Ding! The system's notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations, player leveled up. Current level, Ancient Almighty level 4. Experience, 60000/200000000 points. Ding! Congratulations, player leveled up. Current level, Ancient Almighty level 4. Experience, 60000/200000000 points. Sensing the power that filled his entire body, Long Fei's eyes once again shot out a sharp beam of light. Upgrade meant that all of his energy had been replenished. Only 20 billion experience points can be used to level up. Long Fei was speechless. The price of going up to the next level was only 10 billion, but this time it went up to 20 billion. What about the next level? What about leveling up to the 9th level of the Ancient Supreme Elder? This was the first time Long Fei felt that leveling up was so difficult. It looks like it's time to advance to a higher level map. The Heavenly Empire qualification battles should make me look forward to one. Long Fei thought in his heart. Looking at the empty Yin Tian ranch in front of him, his heart was clear. Killing was also a type of redemption. Furthermore, this was a system quest, so Long Fei did not feel any pressure at all. There are only 3 days left before we will collapse Secret World Yin. Now that the Yin Tian ranch has been cleared, next will be the Netherworld Adumbra Palace and the All Gods Palace. Long Fei thought in his heart. He did not hesitate, and his gaze immediately locked onto another direction. Netherworld Adumbra Flower. What Long Fei did not know was that after his figure disappeared, he was at the edge of the Yin Tian ranch. One of the Yin descendant of God's tribe trembled as he held a bronze mirror in his hands, his face pale. How terrifying. Is he a human or a devil? The entire Yinny ranch is gone just like that. Why do I feel like we're eating with a tiger? I suddenly have a bad feeling. Could the secret world hunting this time be too simple? A few of the Yin God's tribe's disciples said in a low voice. With how loud Long Fei was, they could already sense him through the copper mirror. This was also the reason why he was able to sense the aura on Long Fei's body back then. However, they were the ones who were in charge. They controlled the copper mirror and were able to see the resources in the first hand. Originally, they were in high spirits, wishing that whoever found Long Fei first could obtain a great fortune. But now, there was only deep fear. Long Fei was too berserk, sweeping through the entire Yin Tian ranch by himself. Even Bai Hao wouldn't be able to do something like this. No, he didn't dare to do it at all. We have to inform the young master right away. There's a change in the plan this time. That's right. Young master still has an imperial armament in his hand, so it should be able to kill him. Let's go. They didn't dare to hesitate and left in a hurry. The current Long Fei was already more than 1,000,000 kilometers away. If they were 1,000,000 kilometers away, it might take some time. But in the Sky Spill's secret world, to Long Fei, it was not a problem at all. This was because he had the power of the heavens' divination. Furthermore, he knew the entire Sky Spill's secret world like the back of his hand before he even entered the door. As such, he directly used the third-grade sky evolution technique to draw a transmission gate in the air, locking onto the netherworld Udumber Spring, and arriving there in an instant. Boom! Asterisk Long Fei's figure heavily descended from the air. Fuck, that's too unreliable. Wasn't it supposed to lock onto the target and teleport? What's going on with such a natural fall in the sky? Long Fei was extremely unhappy. However, no matter how unhappy he was, in front of this mission, all negative effects were like a paper tiger, suppressing it with the flick of a finger. Then, Long Fei looked at the space. It was completely different from what Long Fei had imagined. At first, when he found out about the Netherworld, he thought it was because Emperor Yin Tian wanted to create a world of reincarnation. However, this place was more like an ancient tomb. There was not a trace of light in the entire space. Flames of a shining world come out. Long Fei focused and took out a small cluster of flame, lighting up the entire space. But in the moment that the fiery light was released, Long Fei felt his entire body becoming weak. Nothing. The emptiness made Long Fei's heart thump a little. Why does this place look so similar to the Emperor's Tomb of Longevity? Could this be the tomb of Emperor Yin Tian? Long Fei guessed in his heart as he walked forward step by step. Roar. However, just as he took 2 steps, a roar rang out. Immediately after, the ground where Long Fei was at abruptly began to shake, rising and falling unsteadily. It was as if what he was stepping on now was simply a colossus. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The earth shook as countless rocks fell from all directions, flying into the sky. Weapon of mass destruction, immobilize. Long Fei activated his killing weapon and turned it into a square shield to protect himself. The power of Sky Spill has finally arrived at the 2nd level. Emperor Yin Tian didn't lie to me. In the endless darkness, a voice like thunder resounded. Long Fei's heart tensed up. He looked ahead. When he saw it, Long Fei was immediately stunned. Even the surging dark energy couldn't cover up the boss's light. The glittering golden light directly made Long Fei's heart surge with emotions. Boss. Moreover, it was a super big boss. Boy, withdraw your defenses. Obediently return your heaven's birth power to me. I will give you honor and glory, allowing you to become the master of creation. The boss opened its mouth and spat out a bunch of saliva. It fell down and turned into a dark river. This is way too freaking terrifying. Long Fei looked at the colossus in front of him and couldn't even make a sound. This was a boss, but it was impossible to look straight at it. The size of its body was something that not even the Azure Dragon of the past could compare to. To be exact, the entire space of the netherworld Udumber Spring was created from the body of this boss. Quickly, boy, if I'm not wrong, you should be the descendant of Yin Tian. I can feel that the heaven's birth is in your body, and if you hand over your power to me, I will lead you through the ancient world and become the creator of this world. The boss kept talking and luring him. If it were anyone else, they would have already fallen. But Long Fei was different. Would Long Fei believe a boss? Non-existent. They only had one attitude towards the boss, and that was to kill it. You want the power of the Heavenly Dipper? Come. If you have the ability, then come and get it. Long Fei said, and began a probe. This boss level was simply too high. It was impossible to see through its attributes. On its massive head, there were only the 3-word Sky Evolution Beast. As for the rest, they were all question marks. Attributes, health, damage. They were all question marks. It was completely out of the system's estimation. Kid, are you trying to anger me? Back then, even Yin Tian didn't dare to do it. How dare you? In his rage, the entire space became unstable. Long Fei only felt an indescribable pressure pressing down. Kneel. The Sky Spill Beast spoke again. Long Fei felt a sweetness in his throat as all his internal organs were scuttled by this voice. Long Fei suddenly raised his head, and a burst of rage burst out. Kneel before you? You're a F***king boss for me to kneel down to. Look at you. Even as a boss, you don't have your own will. If I don't blow you up today, I won't be called Long Fei. Long Fei was enraged. As he raised his head, the gigantic killing weapon in his hand immediately transformed into a several thousand-meter long big butcher. Your body is huge, right? Today, I will hack you into 1,000 pieces. Long Fei said as he stabbed forward. A single saber strike slashed across the air, incomparably berserk. A single saber strike slashed across the air, incomparably berserk. Clang! A loud sound exploded as if all of them had collided. And what Long Fei found hard to endure was that under this blade, it was as if he had struck a piece of profound steel and did not move an inch. Even the boss didn't have any reaction. On the other hand, he was pushed back several hundred meters. Stop messing around. Brat, I advise you to obediently hand over your heaven's divination. The Sky Spill beast laughed out loud, as if it was tickled by Long Fei's blade. Long Fei's face flushed red, and his vital energy and blood tumbled. He was bullying her. For the first time, Long Fei felt ashamed. This guy was here to kill the boss, but when he slashed down, all he got was a scratch. How the F***ck are we going to fight? Invulnerable? Long Fei was extremely depressed in his heart. Kid, hurry up and give me your heaven's birth power. The Sky Spill beast continued. However, Long Fei did not move and did not say a word. F***ck. Lousy is a pro player, yet I was played by a boss like a monkey. Long Fei's stomach churned, and he felt that his entire life had already fallen into a ravine. Long Fei was confident that he would be able to instantly kill her with that one slash of his just now. However, when it landed on the heavenly beast, it actually didn't have any effect. Not even a layer of skin had been scratched. The other party even thought that he was messing around. What a joke. I'm messing with your sister. Long Fei's teeth itched with hatred, but he was helpless. That's not right, the Sky Spill beast. Since it's a beast, then maybe we can subdue it. Long Fei's heart was moved. Even for a super boss, it would at most cost 100 to 200 million experience points. But if he was to subdue such a huge beast, he was invincible. Under the level of Paragon, it was like scratching an itch. For an existence like this to ask you if you are awesome or not. The more he thought about it, the more excited Long Fei became. Beast controlling technique, activate. Long Fei sent out a strand of consciousness, directly penetrating into the Sky Evolution Beast's soul. Under the influence of this power, the Heavenly Evolution Beast was first stunned, then stunned. Why did you run into my head? Get out, the Sky Spill Beast said. Following that, a repelling force spread out, causing Long Fei to feel as if his spiritual will was being strangled to death. Long Fei's heart was once again hit hard. This was the first time Long Fei felt insulted. I'm a damn beast tamer. Can you respect my expertise? You want me to get out of your head if you don't agree with me? Facing the Sky Evolution Beast, Long Fei felt helpless once again. No, he's not angry. From the beginning to the end, I have only wanted to obtain the power of the heaven's divination. It seems that his wisdom has yet to be fully developed. Suddenly, Long Fei was overjoyed. Although he had suffered the Sky Spill Beast's destructive humiliation twice, Long Fei realized that the Sky Spill Beast had no intentions of attacking him. Come out with me. The power of Sky Spill has already been recognized as master and is already mine. Even if I give it to you, it still wouldn't belong to you. It's useless. I can see that you really need the power of heaven's divination. If you follow me, I can lend you my heaven's divination power. Long Fei started to use his mind to attack the Sky Evolution Beast. As long as the Sky Evolution Beast and idea were to loosen up, he would have a chance of succeeding. You want to go out with you? Stop messing around. Yin Tian had said the same thing back then, but before I could get out, he was already dead. If it wasn't for him promising me that someone would come and deliver the heaven's divination to me, I would have long escaped this situation. This is the misty heaven palace, the sky spill beast said, extremely disdainful. It was as if he did not fancy Long Fei at all. That's not the same. Yin Tian is Yin Tian, and I am me. There will be a day when some great emperor will appear. None of that matters in my eyes. Moreover, I have nothing to do with the Yin Tian you're talking about. My heaven's birth is something that I cultivated myself. If you don't follow me, why would I give it to you? Long Fei said as he took out his sky spill power. Instantly, the sky spill beast became restless, immediately wanting to snatch it. But the power of the sky spill was born from the sky spill art. It was the system reward. How could it be given to the sky spill beast? Instantly, with a thought, Long Fei retracted it. Give it to me, quick. The sky spill beast roared, feeling extremely uneasy. Long Fei felt as if his soul was in a tsunami of violent winds and rain, unable to calm down. F***CK, calm down. Long Fei roared. The sky evolution beast looked at Long Fei with red eyes and continued. Give me, quick, this is something that Yin Tian owes me. I have to pay it back. The sky spill beast's voice was low and filled with resentment. It was as if a vile woman had been abandoned. Stop. Let me say one more word. Yin Tian is Yin Tian, I am me. If you want this power, it's very simple. Follow me. Otherwise, I would at most scatter one hit. With that, Long Fei took out the heaven's birth power again and held it in his hand. No, definitely not. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. The sky spill beast said frantically, even his voice was begging. Whoosh. Long Fei took a deep breath. That's right. Be good. As long as you listen to me obediently, I will let you play around with my heaven's birth power. Long Fei continued to coax him. The sky evolution beast still had a pitiful look, but Long Fei did not care about it all. Because at this time, the sky spill beast no longer had any effect on him. Just as the sky spill beast said he would follow, the Beast King technique was already successful. A void mark landed directly on the soul of the sky evolution beast and was connected to Long Fei. Ding! Congratulations, player, on taming sky evolution beast. Following which, the system's voice boomed. Long Fei was finally relieved. I say, little Tian, your body is way too big. Shouldn't it shrink a little? Otherwise, how am I supposed to take you away? Long Fei said somewhat speechlessly. I don't think so. Our race is like this. Moreover, I don't have the power of the sky spill art right now. I haven't grown up in so many years. It's all the fault of that damned Yin Tian. He actually made me wait tens of thousands of years. The sky spill beast said helplessly. Long Fei also became silent. All right, I'll give you the heaven's divination first. Let's see if I can control it. Long Fei said. Whiz. In any case, the sky evolution beast had already been tricked, so Long Fei was not worried about anything else. With that, Long Fei threw his sky spill power to the sky evolution beast. The heavenly evolution beast's massive body moved, fusing the power of sky spill into its body. Even the entire nether realm was shaking as if it was going to collapse. Ruiuwumbumble. Suddenly, the sky spill beast began to change. Its body began to shrink rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, it became 1,000 feet large. Master, I did it! Haha! I can finally walk out of this world. After the transformation, the heavenly evolution beast was extremely excited. It was as if its entire body had evolved, and its entire body was covered with the light of the boss. Long Fei's throat moved, and a hint of regret emerged in his heart. This light was too dazzling, causing Long Fei to have an intense desire. It was also at this time that the system chimed once, instantly causing all the depression in Long Fei's heart to disappear. Ding! Congratulations, player, for creating the Sky Spill space and obtaining the Sky Spill 3 Emperor system. Long Fei could no longer remain calm. Long Fei could no longer remain calm. The 13 Sky Spill Emperors. Just hearing the name system would cause one's heart to explode. Before, 8 King Kong of the system, Arhut system. And now, He had revealed 13 emperors. System, can you not be so impressive? Are you trying to make me go to heaven? Long Fei was extremely excited and immediately went to check the system. 13 Emperor System. Awakened, corrupt Emperor Zhang Yu. The immortal emperor. Not awakened. Emperor of the extinction, Emperor Yin Tian. Flying immortal emperor. Great emperor fallen land. God of underworld. Emperor Jiao Turbid. Night emperor. Emperor Fong Tian. Ancient emperor. Violet Star Emperor. Long Fei looked at the names that flickered with different colors, and his heart was filled with anticipation. Not only that, the mark of decay and the mark of longevity had already been imprinted within. Zhang Yuya? Long Fei shouted. Ding, since Sky Spill Beast can be taken as the host in the Sky Spill Great Emperor system. Suddenly, the system spoke. Sky Spill Beast? Sky Spill Emperor? Long Fei was startled and immediately understood. The names of the two were so similar that there might actually be a connection. What's the use? Long Fei asked. Ding, the system has detected. The heavenly beast can help the Emperor Seal's power to be easily merged with the Great Emperor's body. The system said, it can help them awaken? Then what are we waiting for? Little Tian, go in. Long Fei's eyes were filled with anticipation. With a wave of his hand, he threw the Sky Evolution Beast straight into the Sky Spill system. The pitiful Sky Spill Beast was still immersed in the process of absorbing the Sky Spill power. Unable to extricate itself, it was directly absorbed by the Sky Spill system. Master, where is this place? Why do I feel so many familiar auras? The Sky Spill Beast seemed to have turned into a totem mark. However, its voice could still be heard from within. This is the place where the Emperor is raised. Long Fei said mysteriously. He did not say anything else. As for the power of the Sky Spill, Long Fei did not care much. In any case, he could still transfer them over when he needed them. Suddenly, Long Fei's heart skipped a beat as he looked into the distance. It was the most mysterious region in the entire space. All God's Palace. I didn't expect by how to be prepared so quickly. Long Fei's heart trembled. Sky Evolution go. Instantly, Long Fei took out the Sky Spill power from the Sky Evolution Beast body and started to draw the pattern. This time, it was the same teleportation. This is the Heavenly Evolution? Haha, it seems like I didn't follow the wrong person. Yin Tian really didn't lie to me. At this time, the Sky Spill Beast suddenly laughed. Long Fei was startled. What did Yin Tian say to you? Long Fei asked coldly. In the darkness, Long Fei could feel that Emperor Yin Tian had too many mysteries on his body. Especially after meeting the Sky Evolution Beast, Long Fei was even more certain. It was as if the entire setup of Emperor Yin Tian was aware of his arrival. Master, that Yin Tian brat is very strange. He didn't say anything. It's just that when I was condensing this space, I had to wait. He said that someone would bring the power of the Sky Evolution here. The Sky Spill Beast said, Long Fei. Yet another person who could defeat fate. Is the power of the Sky Spill really that amazing? Emperor Yin Tian can already deduce this to the future. Long Fei muttered in his heart as he glanced at the Sky Evolution Beast. In the next moment, the lines took shape. Long Fei did not waste any more words and stepped in. Instantly, his vision changed. The scene of him falling from the sky happened again. However, what surprised Long Fei was that the place where he landed on was extremely ethereal and even somewhat sacred. Sculpted jade walls, void tower, all shrine palace. TSK. The S-halls are really as lofty as your sisters. Even though he knew that this was a space created by the great Emperor Yin Tian, Long Fei was still moved. This kind of sacred feeling made Long Fei yearn for it. However, these existences were simply the product of great Emperor Yin Tian. In the end, they were nothing more than the manifestation of some sort of power. Ta. Long Fei walked forward step by step. This feeling of hanging up made him especially excited. Bai Hao, you're amazing. So what if the Sky Spill secret world is yours? So what if you can walk all the way here smoothly? I have a hack. Long Fei walked forward step by step. Before Bai Hao arrived, he would first travel through the divine space. In the entire God's dimension, there were a total of 13 palaces. Above each palace, there was only a corresponding name. It was indeed the 13 great emperors who were impartial, the 3 great emperors of the realm of the gods. What exactly does Emperor Yin Tian want? Or did he deduce something and do some sort of backup plan? Long Fei pondered. All these signs indicated that Emperor Yin Tian was definitely not simple. Boom! In the first seat, Long Fei walked to the front of the Longevity Emperor's palace. He pushed it away. It was empty. However, within it, there was still an aura of longevity. So. The sky spill system operated automatically. Ding detected the power of longevity. Would you like to swallow it? The system prompted. Devour. Long Fei said casually. The entire All Gods Palace was ownerless, so this power of longevity was not for nothing. Whiz. A milky white energy was directly swallowed into the imprint of life, and then it disappeared without a sound. After a while, Long Fei walked out of the Long Life Hall, following which, the Sky Spill Palace. It was still just a strand of the power of the heavens, but after it was swallowed up, it calmed down. And then, Extinguishing Hall, Rotting Hall, Purple Star Hall. Up to the very end, Long Fei did not stay for long. This was only an illusory space. It was not easy to have a force remaining. It was unrealistic to want more. Suddenly, a familiar aura appeared. Long Fei stood on top of the various shrines and looked down. Bai Hao and the rest were currently walking up the heavenly stairway step by step. Outside the shrine, Bai Hao's eyes were filled with excitement. Looking at the shrine S who were supporting him, his eyes were filled with wild hope. As long as we obtain the secrets of the shrine, who would be my match? Qualification matches? Do you even have the qualifications to fight me? And Long Fei, this time, this young master will make you completely despair. If you want me to kneel down, then this young master will make you as lowly as a dog, crawling on the ground in front of me. Bai Hao sinisterly thought to himself, young master. Suddenly, a descendant of God's tribe of the Yin clan opened his mouth and said as he pointed towards the shrines with a frightened expression, "What's wrong?" Bai Hao impatiently turned around, a bit angry, as if his imagination had been interrupted. Young lord, there are people in all the halls. As the disciple spoke, his eyes were filled with fear. Someone's here. Are you King Braindead? This is my Sky Spill secret world. It's always been in our hands. How could there be anyone here? Bai Hao coldly said, No, young lord, there really is someone here. The disciple insisted. You still dare to talk back? Why didn't you say it was Long Fei? Bai Hao sneered, slightly displeased. Young master, that person might be Long Fei. As the disciple spoke, he handed over a bronze mirror. Instantly, Bai Hao's face went grim. In the next moment, his gaze swept across the copper mirror and directly landed on the shrine S. It just so happened that Long Fei had a playful smile on his face. How are you, Master Bai? Are you surprised, or are you surprised? Shock, and absolute silence. Shock, and absolute silence. One above, one pile below. No, that's not possible. How could you have reached the shrine first? I don't believe it. Bai Hao's face was deathly pale, the calmness from before completely gone. Don't say it's useless. Bai Hao, you wouldn't have forgotten the bet between us, right? Long Fei smiled and stared at Bai Hao. Lad, you must have cheated. You were clearly at Yin Tian Ranch before. How could you be in front of us? Yes, he must have cheated. Brat, you're looking to die. You actually dared to cheat in front of us. Young master, ignore him. Since he cheated, then the bet naturally doesn't count. The disciples of the Yinshu God's tribe began to refute. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. So, you're not going to admit your debt? Long Fei's eyes were full of ridicule. So what if you don't admit to it? As a mere trash of the third level of the ancient era, what can you do? As trash, you should have the awareness of being trash. Some people are not people you can afford to offend. Right, If we kneel now, we might be able to keep our lives. The disciples of the Yinshu God's tribe were clamoring crazily. Enough! Bai Hao suddenly opened his mouth and said. He looked at Long Fei and pinched his face. It looks like the secret in your possession is more powerful than I thought. As Bai Hao spoke, he waved his hands and a line appeared out of thin air. Long Fei's expression changed. Almost instinctively, he retreated. Boom! Boom! Crash! Asterisk, a bolt of lightning transformed into a lightning snake and landed directly in front of Long Fei. Killing intent rose in Long Fei's heart. If not for his fast reaction just now, he might have been struck by this lightning snake. Oomph! Long Fei coldly snorted and said, It looks like you don't plan to admit your wrongs and want to kill to keep your mouth shut? Ha ha ha, right. Who do you think you are? Do you really think that I'm fighting with you for that woman, Yuro? Do you really think that I'm acting this way because of love? Too naive. As Bai Hao arrogantly said this, the power of the heavenly wave within his body began to erupt outwards. Everything I did was because of you. Bai Hao's voice shook, almost like a roar. There was no need to hide. At this moment, Tomu's dagger burst out. Long Fei was startled and didn't quite understand what was going on. For himself? When Bai Hao saw Long Fei's expression, he became even more arrogant. Long Fei, from the moment you entered this sky-spill secret world, all of your endings were already decided. That is to become my stepping stone, allowing me to take a step further. How is it? I can't think of it, can I? Ha ha! Bai Hao laughed like a madman. Even the disciples beside him had faces full of astonishment, as if they couldn't figure out what his young master was saying. But no matter what Bai Hao said, they would not reject him, nor did they have any strange thoughts in their hearts, because this was their young lord. Moreover, within their sky-spill secret world, the reason they came here was to seek their own lucky chance. But now, Long Fei was actually running in front. This proved that Long Fei had definitely obtained something extraordinary. Therefore, their killing intent towards Long Fei in their hearts was not the least bit inferior to Bai Hao. In Long Fei's eyes, there was doubt. His instinctive reaction was the power of the sky spill. Suddenly, Long Quang's voice rang out from within his body. Master, this person's aura is very familiar. It should be the time when we were trapped in a maze in the endless forest. Long Quang said. Long Fei was startled, but regained his senses soon after. F***CK, no wonder I felt familiar the first time I met Bai Hao. So he had already plotted against your father. Long Fei squinted his eyes. The killing intent continued to rise. What is it? Do you remember now? That's right. Who would have thought that a little trash that was casually toying with would actually be related to my Yin God's tribe's secret technique? Long Fei, you are unable to escape this calamity. Sky Spill Mirror, come. Bai Hao shouted out. Whiz. With a flash of light, the entire shrine was illuminated. Boom! A copper mirror appeared in midair, slicing through 10,000 kilometers of territory. Bai Hao's silhouette instantly appeared on the surface of the mirror. With the bronze mirror in his hand, he shone the light of all the heavens. Long Fei, no matter what you have obtained, and no matter what secrets you have, they will all be mine. Under the sky spill mirror, I could disintegrate everything about you and deduce all of your secrets. Ha ha! Today, I, young master, will restart Great Emperor Yan's secret treasure trove. It won't be long before I take over the primal chaos realm. Bai Hao laughed maniacally. It was as if everything was in his plans. Long Fei's heart went cold. Looking at the heaven-mending mirror in Bai Hao's hands, a hint of desire appeared in his heart. Perhaps it was because the Sky Spill Emperor's system was in turmoil. It was as if this copper mirror was a part of the system. F***CK, this is the Sky Spill imprint? Instantly, all the fear in Long Fei's heart disappeared without a trace. He only had one thought. That would mean blowing him up. Even if Bai Hao was not a boss, Long Fei would not let him go. Originally, Long Fei thought she was a love rival. He didn't expect her to be a scheming man. He had actually planned it all on himself from beginning to end. If that was the case, then this young man had an ulterior motive for saving Yuro. I originally thought that I wouldn't argue with you, even if you lost for the sake of you row. But now I have decided, even if you are F** King Emperor Yin Tian's illegitimate son, your father will still kill you. Long Fei could not suppress the berserk feeling in his heart and said coldly, "Explode me? Long Fei, are you stupid? I have the Yin Tian clan's inherited divine weapon in my hands. This is the precious weapon that the Emperor used in the past. Forget about you, a mere almighty cultivator from the primordial era. Even if you had broken through to the ultimate great complete stage, it would still be useless. With a flash of a mirror, you were just like a dead dog. You were struggling to survive." As Bai Hao spoke, he couldn't wait to release the power of the copper mirror. Swish! A ray of light burst out, enveloping Long Fei within it. Suddenly, the space in front of Long Fei distorted. It was as if he had been swallowed into another world. At this time, the heavenly evolution beast roared and appeared from within his body. "Scram! You want to evolve my boss's power with just a mirror? Do you F** King think that lousy doesn't exist?" The power of the heavenly evolution beast was released through the sky spill system. Boom! In that short period of time, with the release of the sky evolution beast power, the sky spill power within Long Fei's body exploded out once again. He was careless for a moment and directly charged into the copper mirror. The copper mirror cracked and crumbled into pieces. Bai Hao's expression changed. No. Long Fei, if you dare to make a move and ruin my clan's imperial armament, you will be making my entire Yin God's tribe your enemy. Bai Hao suddenly retracted his hand, but he still couldn't resist the tearing force. Make your God's tribe your enemy? Hey, is there a difference? Today, not only will I kill you, even this sky spill secret world will be destroyed. Long Fei said with a light snort. Is that so? From ancient times till now, no one has ever dared to say such words in my sky spill secret world. Kid, who do you think you are? Suddenly, a sound that shook the heavens and the earth, accompanied by boundless killing intent, descended. It was sinister and terrifying. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.